Yes, ma'am. Roll number 3. Please start, ma'am.
I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Sheikh Masara Sheikh Amir. Roll number 3, working as an assistant professor at Indian Institute of Food Science and Technology College, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. Welcome to all respected dignitaries, resource persons, and fellow participants in our online RC course in Indian Knowledge System, which held from 8/9/2025, that is means from today to 29/2025. It is indeed a matter of great pride for me to be a part of the UGC Malviya Mission training program. At the very outset, I extend my heartfelt thanks to the organizing committee for giving me this wonderful opportunity. This training program is a commendable initiative of UGC that aims at enhancing the professional competence, teaching skills, and ethical values of educators, thereby contribution to the vision of quality education in our country. I feel privileged to be here to learn, share, and grow through such a meaningful platform, valuable insights that will enrich my academic and professional journey. Today, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Vivek Vijay, sir, an, an accomplished associate professor in the Department of Mathematics at the Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur. Dr. Vivek sir began his academic journey with a Master of Science in Mathematics from the Government College Kota, which is now part of Kota University, in the year 2000. After this, he pursued his doctoral studies and earned a PhD in statistics from the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, in 2007. Before joining IIT Jodhpur in 2010 as an assistant professor, Dr. Vivek sir gained valuable industry experience. From September 2008 to March 2010, he worked as a manager in derivatives at Sintel Inc. in their quantitative finance unit. This role allowed him to apply against, particularly focusing on derivatives. In addition to his industry experience, Dr. Vivek sir has also served in academic roles at other well-known institutes. He worked as an assistant professor at the Goa Institute of Management and as a lecturer in the mathematics department at VITS Pilani, Goa campus. These roles help him shape his teaching philosophy and build a strong foundation in academic research and education. Dr. Vivek research Dr. Vivek's research interests are diverse and impactful, covering both theoretical and applied mathematics. His primary area of focus is category data analysis, a branch of statistics with categorized variables of contingency tables, which involves simplifying complex data tables without losing their statistical properties. Has been involved in applying machine learning and statistical techniques to forecast financial data, solar energy data, and healthcare data. This interdisciplinary approach highlights his dedication to solving practical problems through mathematical research. Apart from his rigorous academic pursuits, Dr. Vivek Vijay sir is a passionate writer on social issues. He authored a poetic biography titled Tasmai Shri Gurve Nama, which honors Pandit Shri Ram Sharma Acharya. This work showcases his ability to blend literature, history, and spirituality through poetry. He has also written a narrative book on school education called मैं विद्यालय बोल रहा हूँ, reflecting his deep interest in educational reform and the reform and the school system. Engaging Dr. Vivek sir is actual experiments especially designed for school students. He works towards making the subject more approachable and enjoyable, encouraging young minds to develop a keen interest and better understanding of mathematics. So now I would like to respectfully request our esteemed speaker, Dr. Vivek Vijay sir, to kindly begin today's session and share his valuable insight with us. Sir.
Thank you very much for the elaborated introduction. Your name is mentioned, your name only mentions your roll number. So I won't be able to even recognize the name. So, but thank you very much.
Excuse me, Dr. Madhuri Sawant here. Sir, welcome for this refresher course. And thank you so much for accepting the invitation. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Madhuri ji, for inviting me over here. It's a subject close to probably not only my heart, but I mean, many people over here will share the same thought. So I prepared a few slides that I'll share. Although you mentioned IKS and mathematics, but I'll not constrain to mathematics only. There is some contribution from my end. So I'll not just talk about the journey of mathematics, but we'll also highlight some other aspects of IKS. Understanding that the audience here are college lecturers or professors. So maybe this could be an insight of IKS, Indian Knowledge System, that we talk about. So let me just share the slides. Probably. Yeah, so just confirm once if the slides are visible.
Yes, sir, visible.
All right. So before I begin, once again, thank you very much for inviting me over here. Thanks, Madhuri ji. Thanks to the Marathwada University, especially this under the UGC MMTTC program. They have a huge program, but I'll be here to talk about Indian knowledge system, its contribution to mathematics, especially ancient contribution, modern relevance. So I'll not specifically talk about only the ancient contribution, but I'll also talk about its modern relevance and some work we have done in the direction of Vedic mathematics. Especially when people talk about Vedic mathematics, it's constrained to number system and calculations and all. But we have begun some work in the direction of some engineering applications. So that also I'll talk about. But to begin with, and when we talk about Indian knowledge system, what comes in our mind, and we do not know how old it is. So what comes in our mind is like there is something named as ancient knowledge that we're talking about. So if we only talk about ancient knowledge, we could have said ancient knowledge system. But if it is Indian knowledge system, it must be relevant in today's time also. It must have applications in today's time also. Whether we talk about technology, whether we talk about science, whether we talk about finance, whether we talk about economics, everywhere. So when when we talk about Indian knowledge system, we in general talk about what kind of knowledge system it is. And when we refer it to Sone ki Chidiya, we understand that there was enough gold with us. There were enough resources with us that we talk about. It was probably, I mean, it could be my perception also. We're probably not just, heavily loaded in terms of resources, in terms of minds. That also I'll show you in terms of science, but also in terms of knowledge. So the knowledge that we transferred to various places that can be read. And now people have started realizing it and we have started reading about it. Probably will in the days to come, we'll see more applications of this. So when it comes to IKS, for me, it's a treasure of holistic knowledge of India. So our country has got immense knowledge when it comes to it, I would say ocean of knowledge when it comes to all the application part of it, all the applied side of it, not only just science or mathematics or the contemporary subjects, but the subject you name about will find some treasure of that. So but in the contemporary world, if you want to look at today's relevance in today's world, we can also see that it covers philosophy, science. When I write science, it means all. Physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, whatever you consider as science. So it covers science, not only just science, but it covers scientific temperament as well. So it talks about, philosophical part of that, health, art, education. So we can combine if all of them together, we can call it as the treasure of holistic knowledge. So it's not just unidirection. It's not just in one particular direction, but it's complete. And that completeness is what is the holistic part of it. It emphasizes on 3 global challenges. Now, when it comes to education, these are 3 most important challenges of the world. Not only just India, talking about the world. These are 3 most important challenges of the world. One is sustainability. When we talk about sustainability, I mean, those who are from HSS background, they already know that we talk about SDGs. We talk about Sustainable Development Goals. So when we talk about Sustainable Development Goals, not only in education, not only in health, but in all the areas, we're talking about sustainability. And when we are talking about sustainability, that because of one particular challenge, we have divided it into those different categories. Indian knowledge system talks about sustainable education. It talks about sustainable health practices. It talks about, so when it comes to, for example, just giving an example, when we talk about health practices, today, the doctor is paid, and I read it somewhere in one of the great books. So today the doctor is paid for curing your disease. Now the same doctor used to be paid according to the health condition of the village, according to the health condition of that particular area. If your area has got good health condition, then the doctor will be paid more. And that was the situation we had. So it was like complete in terms of when we talk about sustainable health. Yes, we were. In terms of sustainable resources. Yes, we were. In terms of sustainable education. Yes, we were. That is one challenge that it addresses. The second challenge that it addresses, and that's what we are lacking in the world, is harmony. One thing that we see in the world, people are fighting with each other for many things. I mean, not just resources, but ego. Somewhere we see, I mean, the war on the ground, the war on the battlefield, the war, what we can call as cyber attacks, what we can call as biological attacks. So we have got all sort of different situations where we need harmony. And this harmonious blend of people is integrated in our Indian knowledge system. So that also can be highlighted. Third thing that we talk about is well-being of people. So when we talk about, Indian knowledge system, our culture, we start with Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam philosophy, that Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina philosophy, Loka Samasta Sukhino Santu philosophy. So we just are not concentrated on only on Atmabal, Atmavishwas, Atma Parishkar, but we also talk about when it is Atma Parishkar, then it is Parivar Parishkar, and then we talk about Rashtra Nirman. So this complete chain, if we look at, so it is not just well-being of self, it is well-being of individual, well-being of family, well-being of society, and well-being of country at large. So that is what it emphasizes on. By the way, if you have anything in between, any question, any remark, please do not hesitate to stop me. Okay, some key features of Indian knowledge system. So we all know that it is rooted in Vedas. It is rooted in Upanishads. They are more practical approaches than Vedas. Then it is rooted in Smritis. Smritis basically whatever was remembered at that time, people wrote it, and that's how it is known as Smritis. So some of the applications are given there, and we are just trying to extract that knowledge from those from our Upanishads, from our Vedas, from our Smritis. Somewhere? Yes?
So please continue.
Okay, thank you. So we have the oral tradition, we have the written tradition, and we all know it. I mean, the names that we read today, Dvivedi, Trivedi, Chaturvedi. So those who knew 2, 3, and 4, accordingly, they were named. So that's like when everyone, so every, intruder was burning our knowledge in terms of books. That time people remembered it, and then that's how it became oral tradition. We also have written tradition, and that we're trying to combined together. Integrative approach, and this is what is needed today. The approach is, if it is physical, if it is artificial, we have seen the intelligence in terms of artificial, and that will grow. Nobody can stop that. But simultaneously, if we need to grow in a balanced manner, if we need to look at humanity at a large, then with artificial intelligence, we have to also look at spirituality. We also need to look at humanity. So that's what it combines of. So it combines spiritual, material, and social approach. Balance between individual, society, and nature. And that is where we talk about sustainability. So when it comes to Indian knowledge system, not just it talks about individual, as I mentioned earlier, it talks about family, it talks about society, and it talks about nature as well. Then only it will be sustainable. And this is what we have been reading about. So 5,000 years ago, Sri Krishna wrote Mahabharata, and that he gave this formula of Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, which means balance is what is yoga. So we need to keep a balance. And that is the mantra for all the students today. That this is what we say, that, there is nothing wrong in the world. Mobile devices, we can't get rid of that. But can we have a balance between our time and mobile? Can we have a balance between work and life? So this balance is what managerial people are talking about. But that balance we have in our treasure, in our knowledge system, and that is what is missing today. If we need to look at this balance and formulas for balance, then we have to look at those ancient literatures. Now, a few domains of IKS, when we talk about what it covers, as I mentioned earlier also, it covers philosophy, it covers science, it covers medicine, it covers linguistics, it covers arts, music, architecture, whatnot. I mean, it covers everything. And we know that the oldest Gurukul Parampara started from our own ancient system, where we had in Takshashila, 10,000 students used to come from 80 different countries to study over here, 250 different subjects. And that's how the education system started. So we got that knowledge. The only thing is we need to go back and realize that. Yeah. Specifically, when it comes to science and mathematics, we have got all these things, and now we have proof. Earlier, people used to say, we only talk about rubbish, jab zero diya mere Bharat ne is rubbish. But now we have got proofs of everything. So we have got proofs of zero, decimal system, algebra. And algebra, I'll talk about it if time permits, and if probably. So I don't know if there are a few mathematics people attending this. For them, it could be of interest. So some of these applications which we found, if there are some mathematics people, then it'll be good to talk about, those applications. Otherwise, it'll not make much sense. So from Vedic mathematics, although we talk about when it comes to Vedic mathematics, then we talk about the number system. How do we multiply those big numbers? How to divide those numbers? But it is not limited to that. 16 sutras of Vedic mathematics, which is very recent. So that talks about algebra, that talks about calculus, that talks about trigonometry, that talks about everything. So the only thing is we have to extract information from there and use it in the contemporary world. So it talks about all these things when it comes to people who contributed to it. It is Aryabhatta, it's Brahmagupta, it is Bhaskaracharya. Lot of people, Swami Tirth Krishna Bharati ji, even in today's world, mathematicians know India by Ramanujan. So if more recent, if we talk about, then probably Manjul Bhargava. So all these people are utilizing the knowledge from our ancient literature, and then they're deriving some applications from there. In astronomy, yes, planetary motion, eclipses, and I'll give examples of this. Where are we finding these out? When we talk about GPS system, when we talk about Google, what kind of Google did we have? Did we have some sort of direction parameter with us? So that also we can see some of the current experiments going on. But at the same time, we can also look at our symbols which were representing all these things. So we'll see. Metallurgy, when it comes to metallurgy, there are there's so much that we have in India. The pure gold, that was here. The oldest mine of zinc, that was here. So we have a lot of things to talk about. The only thing is we need to just look at it holistically. Now, when we talk about Indian knowledge system, a lot of people are talking today about this. Three forms, if we see, this exists. Up to some extent, some theorems, some scientific validations we have done. So we have proven up to an extent. For example, when we talk about zero, when we talk about decimal, we've proven that that was existing in our literature. 600 BC, we had something. So which people are talking about today. Newton and Leibniz, when they gave calculus, it was given long back. And those Pingala, the Shulva Sutra, so all those books we have today. So these are proven up to an extent. This is really something which can give us confidence that yes, we had something. Some of these we have where research activities are still going on. Although people talk a lot about it. For example, I'll just give an example from, so we say, when you conduct a yajna at a place, then environment will be purified. So this I heard at one place, some Pandit was saying, and there is scientific evidence of it. So he said that, environment will get purified. Yes, certainly it happens. But then suddenly somebody asked him that how can, when the fume goes up, how can carbon dioxide level decrease? And that's not true. You cannot validate it scientifically. So holistically, if we look at the environment, yes, he was correct. Unfortunately, when we exaggerate it, then it becomes a challenge and it becomes a problem. Even problem for people who have proven up to it up to an extent. For them also it becomes a problem. So unnecessary exaggeration creates unnecessary problem, especially when we are in academics. We have to think about it twice before we say it to someone. So somewhere research activities are going on. Just one example I have given you. A lot of people are working on the data related to yoga, the data related to yajna, the data related to Ayurveda. So on these ancient science people are working on. We still did not get results, but in the days to come, yes, we'll be able to prove because we have started doing experiments. The third form is very dangerous, and at least from academic institutions, we should try to save ourselves from it. This WhatsApp University, Google University. So people say everything was there in India. We do not have any proof. And those who have proven up to an extent, they also have to take a step back because of this fake information. So as an academician, I would suggest something from here, that when we are talking about IKS, please do not share information if you are not able to verify it, if it is not validated. As an academician, I'm talking about. Other people can do it. They enjoy doing it, and that's fine. And people should follow that kind of tradition. Yeah. So these three forms are there. For us, these two are important. For individual researchers, those who want to work, this second component is really interesting and important. Research activity, a lot of research activities are going on. I have just given you a few examples. So what we need to do as an academician, if we talk about no acceptance or rejection, but investigation. We don't say that it was not existing. We don't say that it was existing, but we say that we'll investigate it. And this is the beautiful quote from Swami Vivekananda. He used to say that, manyata se janne ki taraf badho. So it's like, whatever people are saying, it's fine. You don't reject them. You don't accept them. But then you should start knowing it. So this is what is needed. Investigation is needed. Making it scientifically accepted. And when we talk about scientifically accepted, there are 3 steps to do it. Start experimentation. So as a statistician, what we say that, collect the data. And the data collection means start experimenting it. People have started, so we simply say in a class of mathematics, when we go and talk about when we throw a coin, the probability of getting the probability of getting hit is 1/2. And in one of the classes, one student asked me immediately, sir, what does it mean? Does it mean that when you're tossing a coin 2 times, you will get 1 head and 1 tail? If I don't understand, what do I say? So this is what a simple problem. We say that the probability of getting, yeah. Somebody saying something? Commenting on it? Yeah, you can. So what I was trying to say is,
by tossing 2 times will be head is there, na?
Yeah, it may be.
2 times will be tail.
Yeah, it may be. We don't know. All right. So therefore, this theory is wrong or correct? that, when you toss, yeah. So basically what happens, then I told this guy, you do one thing, you take a coin and then toss it. So he tossed it 2 times and by chance head appears. Now my theory fails. Sorry?
Roll number 44.
Sir, you please continue. I'm checking out, to mute
Roll number
the
44.
participant.
Unmute.
Yeah. No. Some people are saying something and it's fine. Yeah. So you continue it multiple times. So I said you do it 10 times, you do it 20 times, you do it 50 times, you do it 100 times, and then eventually you will be able to see. This is what is experimentation. So when you start experimenting, you start collecting the data. And when you start collecting the data, then only you will be able to build theory around it. So once you start experimenting, you will be able to collect the data, you will be able to build theory around it. And finally, it will be validated. And then it will become a scientific experiment. So this is how scientifically we need to build a theory around what we are doing. If anything, I mean, not just IKS, but for anything we need to do this. So especially because we're talking about IKS, so anything that we say, we should start experimenting it. We should build a theory around it and then probably try to validate it. 4 stages that we see today. One is blissful glorification. That's what we enjoy with. So again, repeating it, blissful glorification is like, when we talk about ancient India, we had so much in it. Sone ki chidiya. Yes, this gives us confidence. We had, people who had great knowledge of science, great knowledge of mathematics, great knowledge of philosophy. So that gives us confidence. And that blissful glorification is like extended via WhatsApp University or Facebook or social media. Yes, we do that. So that is fine. That is first stage. And probably we have crossed that stage. Now we are talking about IKS in academic institution. So that glory has gone. We have reached to the second stage that we call as informed glorification. And it is informed. Now we are not just blissful glorification we're talking about, but we have got evidences of it. That is what is informed glorification. And once we get evidences, this is second stage that we are passing through. We are still trying to learn. We are learning from the literature. We are learning from Upanishad. We are learning from the literature that was given to us. So this is what is informed glorification. Then will come the third stage, journey for knowing it. It was informed to us, and then we'll start experimenting it. We'll start knowing it, and finally, if we know it and we are able to apply it, then it will be proven to the world that this knowledge is not just we're talking in terms of Sone ki chidiya, but it is important in contemporary world. So these are 4 stages that we talk in IKS. In all these 4, I would say that, and it is not by me, but one of the great IKS leaders, he says that Sanskrit is non-negotiable for our future. If we really need to understand the treasure, we need to go towards the path of Sanskrit. All right. Now comes my subject. Yeah. Anything so far? Any comment, question, remark? Just going one-sided. If you have something.
Previously, you was make a statement that Sanskrit is non-negotiable.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. Not my statement. This is what B. Mahadevan says every time, that Sanskrit is non-negotiable for our future. That means what? A lot of people say, don't bother about the language. People have converted our Sanskrit literature into Hindi. People have converted our Sanskrit literature into English. But that conversion will definitely miss some of these things. So we won't be able to reach to the author. We won't be able to reach to the true knowledge unless we understand this Sanskrit. So he says that in the future, we need to understand, we need to learn Sanskrit to understand IKS in a better manner. So that's what it means. All right. So coming to my subject now, IKS and mathematics. So we all know that it's an integral part of Indian knowledge system and easy to prove. Mathematics allows us to, so not just mathematics, but my subject is statistics, also allows us to prove a lot of hypotheses. So we have got a hypothesis. Now the hypothesis, this is how we conduct a research. So in a research, we start with a hypothesis. That hypothesis will be validated, whether to be rejected or to be accepted. And so mathematics allows us. When we talk about mathematics, it is not just in terms of numbers, it is algebra, it is the machine learning part, it is the artificial intelligence part that we're talking about. These are all applications of what we had in terms of mathematics. So be it the Sulabh Sutra, Vedic mathematics, we have a lot of mathematics literature, and that people are trying to extract now. So it is rooted in Vedic text, it is rooted in Sulabh Sutras, which was given by Pingal Shastri. It is rooted in Jyotish. So everywhere, mathematics is rooted. Mathematics was used to show directions. Mathematics was used to talk about this Jyotish Shastra. So it is everywhere. It is much rooted. The only thing is, for understanding mathematics, we need to understand two things, mathematics and Sanskrit, both. So people are really working hard to get some information from there and then apply it in practice. Blend of theory, application, and philosophy. Yes, it is also part of mathematics. Now, when we talk about early mathematical texts, this is very famous, Sulabh Sutra. It gives us geometry. It gives a lot of things, but especially it gives us geometry for altar construction. So it started with fire, altars, and then people have started utilizing it for various purposes. So it is given by Pingal Shastri. He's given a lot of formulas. Then this Vedanga Jyotish is another one which talks about astronomy, and we know that Panchang, the Panchang. So today's Panchang is not today's Panchang. I mean, it is based on the mathematics that we had. So every single day has different. So when we talk about Rashi, when we talk about Nakshatra, everything is connected with some sort of mathematical models, and this is how this is what is written in Vedanga Jyotish. Astronomy in calendar. Panini's Ashtadhyay. So it is algorithmic grammar. So when we talk about algorithm, the term algorithm is not a computer science language. It's not a computer science word. It's a mathematics word. So the first time, structured manner, Panini started writing. So he started writing in terms of algorithm. And once you start writing an algorithm, it gives you a process. And once you have a process, it allows you to compute something. And so it became precursor to modern computation. Now, when we talk about Indian ancient literature, we need to remember these people as well. Aryabhatta. So I'm just showing you some faces, probably just to recognize them, acknowledge them. So Aryabhatta, who introduced place value system and zero. Now we've got literature, enough literature to prove this. Approximation of pi. This was given by him first time. And he, in fact, talked about trigonometry.
Am I audible? Hello? No, resource person is not only audible. Hello, sir. You are not audible, sir.
Sir, you can unmute himself.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
So I'm so sorry. There was some technical issue at our end and it got disconnected. So am I audible clearly?
Yes, sir. You are clearly audible.
All right.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, so I was talking about the contribution of all these people. Came to Brahmagupta, who was the first one to talk about negative numbers. So before that, there are a lot of stories. There is a book by I forgot the name, but the book titled is one, two, three, Infinity. He talks about the growth of numbers. How did one go to infinity? So he was talking about Hottentot tribes. It was one of the tribes. And there the number was like, the known numbers were only three, 1, 2, 3. So there was nothing beyond three. So he was he was mentioning a story, a mythological story. So he mentioned that, there were only three numbers, 1, 2, 3. So if three people were playing the game, first one will come first, second one will come second, third one will come third. But if there are four people, then he has to go to first. That 1, 2, 3. And then they decided not to talk about 4, 5, but they decided to call it as many. So what was the number system for them? It was 1, 2, 3, many. So this is how the growth of number system has been seen. Specifically, when it comes to negative number, he only first time talked about it, Brahmagupta. The notion of negative, even in today's world, a lot of people talk about physical significance of negative numbers that we do not have any scientific way of proving it. But he at that time talked about these negative numbers and probably more on that. He also gave solutions to quadratic equations. So first time, I mean, later Sridharacharya also expanded it, but yeah, he gave the solutions. He also talked about area of cyclic quadrilaterals and many other figures for that matter. So when we talk about gravity, we normally talk about Newton. That Newton gave the principle of gravity, but he talked about early concept of gravity, Brahmagupta. So it may be of interest for some of you, those who are from physics, those who are from mathematics. Probably you may read and understand this. Bhaskara second, Leelavati was more famous. So he wrote this book, his daughter's name, Arithmetic and Problem Solving. So he gave complete structure of problem solving. He also talked about algebra. So Bijganit, the subject Bijganit was formally and in a pattern was introduced by him. He talked about a lot of equations, intermediate equation, how do we solve those intermediate equations. He gave a lot of methods. He also talked about derivatives and then small quantities, so this limit extending to zero that we use. So he did not use the word limit extending to zero, but it was very infinitesimal quantities that he introduced the notion of. So this was Bhaskaracharya too. We all know about their contributions, so I'll not speak about it. Ramanujan's contribution, he proved more than 3,000 theorems. We have, in fact, many mathematicians of the world know this one name Ramanujan from India. So the most famous mathematician. So I'll also acknowledge some of the other mathematicians that we have in the contemporary world. They have really given their names in the mathematics group. So he was Harishchandra Institute we have in Prayagraj. So that is very famous institute. So he worked on infinite dimensional group theory and a lot of applications he has given. C.R. Rao, there's another institute in his name. So C.R. Rao, Advanced Institute of Mathematics and Statistics in Hyderabad. He worked on theory of estimation. We have Kramer Rao Bound also in his name. There were people like Mahalanobis who gave distance system, another parallel distance system. Shakuntala Devi, you all know, I mean, she talked about astrology and yourself. That is the book that she authored. And yeah, BBC named her as human computer. So a lot of people talked about, mathematics and its contributions. But most recently, the person who contributed in NEP also is Manjul Bhargav. So he is American-Canadian mathematician. In 39 years of his age, he received this Field Medal, which is equivalent to Nobel Prize. Mathematics does not have any Nobel Prize, so the Field Medal is given. So, but he contributed a lot in NEP 2020. So yeah, so I'll just leave these people. VN Singh is another name who challenged Einstein equations. But yeah, he became famous. But later I'll talk about him because I worked on Vedic mathematics up to an extent. So he's Sri Krishna Tirtha Bharti ji, Jagadguru Shankaracharya, who wrote a structured book on 16 different Vedic mathematics formula to talk about addition, multiplication, all the operations, not only just for numbers, but also for algebraic expressions. Not only multiplication and division, he also talked about HCF, LCM, and his formula also talk about calculus, integration, differentiation, geometry. So everything can be obtained by using those formulas. So he was Shankaracharya at Govardhan Math Puri. And yeah, these 16 formulas are famous. We should also know that Kerala School of Mathematics is hugely working on this, and infinite series for pi. So this was given by Kerala School of Mathematics. So a lot of people worked on it. People contributed to get exact value of pi. It started from 3.14, and now it is an infinite series for pi, which proves that it's an irrational number. They also developed trigonometric series expansion, what we read in terms of sin x, cosine x, straight tan x, the series expansion of all those things. Modern calculus foundation was also laid by the Kerala School of Mathematics, even before Newton and Leibniz talk about it. So that is the contribution that we have. Especially when we talk about different techniques in mathematics, these are different techniques that ancient literature has given us. Decimal and positional notation, lot of different ways of writing numbers. If you read in the ancient literature, there were so many different notation people used. So many different mathematicians gave this notation. So just like, it was not just like 1, 2, 3, 4, but they used alphabets. They used the name of Vedas. So the first one comes, for example, Rig Veda. So people started using those names also. So automatically it symbolizes number 1, the next symbolizes number 2, third symbolizes number 3. So this is how people started using it. So we have a lot of different systems of numeracy. We have algebraic methods. We have solution of quadratic equations. We have, I mean, when we talk about economics, definitely, even before Chanakya, we had a lot of people who talked about financial management of finance, economics, geometry in construction, rituals. And rituals, when I wrote it specifically because in rituals, I used it. So we have different kind of, Havankund in Yajnashala, different shapes. So somewhere square shape, somewhere cubic shape, somewhere this hexagonal shape. Interestingly, what we found, and I'll show you in one of the papers, what we found and observed was that the volume of all those things was same. So beautiful the design was that they considered in this way that the volume should not get changed. So the total material, total resource, whatever we have over there should remain same. And probably this was used for different purposes, but we only worked on the volume side of it. Yeah. So permutation and combination, Chanda Shastra, Pingala has given theory for it. And what influence do we have on the world? So we glorify, again, it's a kind of informed glorification that we have. Knowledge transmitted to Arabs, they're using our numeral system. Hindu-Arabic numerals adopted globally. Now, foundation of Renaissance mathematics and modern science. So we have got a lot of modern relevance as well. So, for example, when we talk about Vedic mathematics, it is used for rapid computation. But I'll also show you some examples where we worked on the algebraic computations, not just numbers, but on algebraic expressions. And I'll tell you one thing, not just I'll show you some of the methods, but we claim that this is the simplest method to divide an algebraic expression by another algebraic expression. Algorithms inspired by Panini's grammar, integration of IKS in NEP. So when we talk about IKS, the integration of IKS in NEP is in such a way that we talk about learning by doing experiments. There also we contributed up to an extent, and that probably also I'll show you what kind of work we have done. So we all can think of, modern relevance of this subject. Whatever our subject is, I did not talk about, mathematics much over here. I did not show applications of mathematics over here, but you can think in terms of your own subject. When we talk about physics, can we think of some of these experiments which were written in our ancient literature? Can we think of these 16 sanskaras that we talk about? Do they have some sort of scientific significance? When we talk about 24 avatars, is it a kind of evolution that we talk about? So we must think in that direction, and then probably we'll get some of the answers. And once we get answer, it may not be scientifically proven, but it will become informed glorification. So from blissful to we can reach to informed, and this is what we can probably make an environment in our academic system to talk about it. Yeah. So now I was talking about the Vedic mathematics. This may make this may become important for some people, but may not be for everyone. So I'll quickly go through it. There are 16 formulas that he talked about. Jagadguru Shankaracharya, Swami Sri Krishna Tirtha Bharti Ji, he has written a book, a nice book on Vedic mathematics, and he talks about these 16 sutras. Even I could not understand all 16 of them, but some of them which I could understand, that gave me comfort of utilizing the algebraic expressions and utilizing them in applications. We have given applications in cryptography, we have given applications in chemical engineering, we have given applications in various different fields. So signal processing, communication. So there we talked about it. I'll not go into that, but this is just an introduction of those things. So those who are not aware of what Vedic mathematics is, by the way, it is not. It does not come from Vedas. So Vedic mathematics is just an ancient name to it. It doesn't come from Vedas. The 16 sutras were given by Swami Sri Krishna Tirtha Bharti Ji. That was the first time it was written, and he wrote in terms of sutras. There are 13 sub-sutras. So that's the first book that he has written. Those who are from mathematics background, they can see this book. This will give them some sort of comfort and also confidence that we have got such a great treasure with us. So it was popularized especially for calculations of large numbers, multiplication, division, 19 multiplied by 19, 25 multiplied by 25. What will happen to that? But we are not restricting to that. My starting point was algebra only. So there, people struggle a lot, and that's where we try to simplify the algebraic expressions. The corresponding Vedic mathematics sutra, when we used, they really simplified. So from multiplication to division to HCF to LCM to partial fractions, all these expressions really became very simple when we started using in practice. And as I mentioned, that we found applications in cryptography, chemical engineering, control system, demonstrating their relevance in contemporary mathematical education. So it's just like, when we say applications we have found, applications are there in terms of the complex algebraic structures. When we are multiplying, it is the Vedic mathematics that is helping. So that's how we talk about the application part. Let me just show you what we have done. For some people, it may become of interest. So maybe just one or two examples and then I'll skip it. So what it does actually, if you look at it, what it does, it reduces the burden of writing the algebraic expression. So just showing you that when you add these two expressions, the numbers are written over here. So Vedic mathematics actually plays with numbers, and these algebraic expressions will appear automatically over here. So you're not adding 2x in 5x. You're just adding 2 in 5, and you're just adding 3 in 2. This is what is happening. Same thing for subtraction also. So that also I'll not talk about. But in multiplication, he utilizes this rule, what is called as Urdhva Tiryak, vertically and crosswise. The most beautiful algebraic rule I could find to multiply any two very complicated expressions is this one. How does it work? So it just works in vertically crosswise way. What the formula says, Urdhva Tiryak, vertically and crosswise way. So it's just like, if you are multiplying these two expressions, very simple expressions, what you need to write is like 1119 1119. So those who are not from mathematics background, don't worry about it. Those who are from mathematics, they can see it and its importance. This is really very interesting and important. 1119, and this is what I have written over here. So what this rule says, it says that you first multiply these two numbers, and that's how you will get the coefficient of first one. Then you multiplied it crosswise. So this crosswise is what this is. 1 into 1 plus 1 into 9. So that will give you the second number. Third will be the last one. So this is 1 multiply this one and then crosswise and then the last one. This is what is happening. And when you get these three numbers, the complete expression is written over here. So this simple multiplication is what you are seeing. But even if you have a complicated expression, it goes like that only. So even if you have this expression, it works only on numbers. So x raised to the power 4 will be the largest exponent that we'll have. And what will be the coefficient? So 3 into 5. This is how it goes. 3 into 5. This cross multiplication. So this is how it is working. 3 into 4, 2 into 5. You're just adding the two. Then again cross multiplication, but you're not leaving anything. So this becomes the middle factor. Then again cross multiplication. So this is exhausted. We start from the next one. So this is how the multiplication works. And then the last one. This beautiful expression. Even if you have an expression of 10 degrees, it really helps you in minimizing the efforts of multiplication. So this is really beautiful. I mean, if you really want to practice, I can send you the whole paper that we have written. Then comes the division. Division is much more complicated than multiplication. At least for multiplication, we have some rule. For division, it becomes very complicated. If you ask students, not just students, but teachers also, to divide a mathematical expression with another algebraic expression, a 5-degree polynomial with 2-degree polynomial, it's very difficult. But the rule that they gave is very simple. They say paravarti yojiyat, transpose and apply. Just transpose the number and then apply it. So how does it applied in practice? I'll not go into details of that, what is written. But suppose I need to divide this particular expression by x minus 2. Again, see, I said that, how does it help? It helps in reducing the burden of not writing the algebraic expression per se, but just writing those numbers. So we're just writing these numbers. If you look at the coefficient 12, the coefficient minus 8, the coefficient minus 32 is what is written over here. And the coefficient of x is 1, and the coefficient minus 2, in place of minus 2, we have written 2, and that is what is transpose. Changing the sign over here is what is transpose. Whatever is written, change the sign. And how does it work? It works in this way. This 1 will divide this 12. So the first number by first number, and then you get 12. Then you multiply it by this. This is what the cross sign says. Transpose and multiply. All right. So this is the multiplication. 12 into 2 is 24. Then add both of them, you'll get 16. 16 into 2, 32, and then you get 0. So this is the quotient and this is the remainder. Very simple expression is what we are having. From dividing a quadratic expression from a linear expression looks very simple, but it is not limited up to this. Even if you have such complicated expression, then also it works. Just confirm me if I am audible clearly. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, sir.
All right, fine. Yeah, I thought maybe there's some.
Yeah, now we can see it. So yeah.
All right. So this is not visible?
It is visible, sir, but we can see only Vedic maths algebra.
Oh, the other document is not visible to you.
No, not yet.
Oh, so my God. I was talking about that only and it is not visible.
Yeah, that is why I
Yeah.
interrupted.
So I'm so sorry. I mean, actually, I gave a link to that, but it didn't work. So let me just have a look at it, probably. So just confirm me if this screen is visible to you, the other one that I'm now using. No.
Still not, sir.
Okay. I don't know what is the problem. Let me just share the screen. Yeah, I hope this is visible now.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Oh, so I'm so sorry. I was talking in terms of numbers and you're not able to see it. So yeah, I thought I'm showing you these slides, but you're not able to see. So in any case, I'll not go into details of what I was talking about, but these are very simple mathematical Vedic formulas that allow you to use them for multiplication, for division, for all those expressions that we talked about, for all those operations as well. So for example, when we talk about this multiplication, this is how it works. You're just writing the numbers associated with them. 1119. And this is what we have written. So this 1119 and the formula, what the formula says, formula is here. Urdu Tiryak. So Urdu Tiryak is vertically and crosswise. And this vertically is like you're just multiplying vertically, getting the first number, crosswise getting the second number, and lastly multiplying vertically, you're getting the third number. And this is how the expression comes. Not just for this particular expression, but even if you have complicated one, you can use it for any degree polynomial. Multiplication, vertically and crosswise. So this is how it works. Vertically, the highest power of x will be 4. So that is what the coefficient of x power 4 will be. Then vertically and crosswise. So this is the next one will be the crosswise. The next will be another crosswise. And then we are not leaving anything aside. So I can share this slide with you. If you're interested, you can have a look at it. So this is how you can utilize it. The beauty of this is when the students struggle, we have seen that, a lot of 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade students is struggling with algebraic expressions. This multiplication does not consider algebraic expression xy at all. They struggle in x and y, and we are just writing numbers. So these numbers will help. Multiplication, addition of numbers will not be a struggle for them. So this is how we'll get an expression easily. Moreover, this division rule, what we call as Paravarti Yojiyat, this helps a lot. This is the best way of dividing an expression by another expression. You have got this particular expression, you got another expression, and what it says is like Paravarti Yojiyat, transpose and apply. And this transpose means you're just writing those numbers. Again, as I said, writing the coefficient of x square, the coefficient of x, the coefficient, the last constant over here, and dividing it by these numbers. So the coefficient of x is 1. In place of -2, we are writing 2, and that is what is transpose. So just changing the sign over here, rest everything is same. First number divided by first number, you'll get this, and then multiply it by this. This is what is crosswise. They'll give you 24. Add them this, then again multiply this with this, and you'll get 0 as remainder. This is quotient. This is the so this particular expression you're dividing by this. You're getting this as quotient, and this is remainder. Not only for such a simple expression, but even if you have very complicated expression, this works in exactly same manner. First number divided by first number, it is 2. This kind of expressions, even when we talk about modern mathematics, it's not easy to handle such kind of expressions, but it easily tells us how this Vedic mathematics was useful. So anyway, I'll not talk much about it, but you can see, you have all the rules, and this work we presented in one of the conferences, and now we're writing another article on it. So we're working on partial fractions, and not only up to the level of mathematics, but I'll show you that some of the applications, not really showing you the complex mathematical expressions, but some of the applications that we worked on. So those were from probably from science or engineering background, they can understand. These are applications in chemical engineering. These are applications in so we have given applications in chemical engineering that I'm showing over here, but cryptography also we have given application. Signal processing also we have given application. So there are enormous applications that exist. Let me again come back to the same slide. I didn't want to bother you with much mathematics, but because it is on mathematics, I have to show you something. Yeah. So please confirm once the slides are visible.
Yes, sir, visual.
Fine. So we were here somewhere. I missed that. All right. So we were talking about, the use of mathematics and contribution of mathematics of all those people. But it is not just limited to mathematics. In all the other areas, if you talk about not just science, not just engineering, but it was useful in almost all the areas. And that's what I'll just show, and then we'll stop from there. So this Vedic mathematics, we talked about it. Those who are interested must look at this book of Sri Krishna Tirth Bhartiji and some other references that I've given you. Now, in one book, they talk about a lot of contributions and treasure the real knowledge of our ancient literature. And this is one of the mathematical expression that we are using over here, Sri Yantra. So this Sri Yantra, you might have seen it already. So in the Sri Yantra, we have a dot in the center and then triangles. These triangles are symmetrically put over here. And this Sri Yantra tells us the use of even contemporary mathematics. So I'll show you what does it tell in terms of mathematics. So it's a very complex design having a point in the center, and around the center point, it is surrounded by 9 triangles on all 4 sides. So these triangles are put small, then bigger, so all 4 sides of it. So the triangles, if you look, there is symmetry. This particular line, this particular line, this particular line, this particular line. So you have got symmetrical triangles over here, and this is how it is surrounded by. All the 4 sides are entangled in each other. So this can be seen from here. And the entangling of these 9 triangles create 43 smaller triangles, which are extremely proportional. Why these numbers become important? Has anybody heard of Fibonacci series? Fibonacci, the term. In fact, this is a series in mathematics, but there is something called as golden ratio derived from Fibonacci series. There is a technical indicator used in financial market named as Fibonacci retracement. So this Fibonacci series, actually whatever the series was giving in terms of numbers, in terms of ratios, those ratios already exist in these 3 yantras. So that is the beauty. The Fibonacci number and golden ratio can be obtained in these triangles. So if you divide the area of bigger triangle by a smaller one, then you'll get exactly this ratio. And that ratio remains same. So this is called as golden ratio. This appears in a lot of mathematical or not just mathematical, but scientific applications as well, the golden ratio. Fibonacci wrote this. So why I am showing you the reason is this. Fibonacci wrote a book in 1202 AD on this subject. So first time this was discovered, and it was named as Fibonacci number in 1202. When did we discover it? Before 1500 years of Fibonacci, Maharshi Pingal Shastri had given such a numeral system. And that is available today in his book, Chand Sutras. So we talked about Fibonacci numbers, not in that manner, but the ratio, if you look at all these things, then we'll get the same ratio what we talked about. Not only this was 1500 years ago, but thereafter, Virahanka in 6th century, Gopal in 1135, and Hemchand Shastri in 1150. Fibonacci talked in 1202. Before that, these many literatures we have. Now we have got these many literatures where we talk about Fibonacci number, not in the name of Fibonacci, but the series we talk about, the ratio that was given in Sri Yantra that we talk about. This ratio exists everywhere. So in lot of natural phenomena, we see this golden ratio. And so it is called as golden ratio. So the golden ratio has also been not only us, but they were also using. So this ratio was also used in design of Egyptian pyramids. So in a lot of natural designs, in artificial designs, you see this golden ratio. The same golden ratio is found in the sides of triangle produced in the Sri Yantra. So the same the golden ratio 1.614 is the ratio of a smaller side and bigger side. This is what is given over here. So triangles in the Sri Yantra form in the same mathematical manner as given by Pingal Shastri. So this was not just now, but 1500 years ago than Fibonacci. So you can understand it was even 2300 years ago or 2700 years ago. in fact, that we talked about. So these triangles have been formed as, this is another thing that, that we noticed, interestingly. If anyone has heard of Pascal triangle, that is based on binomial expansion. So the Pascal triangle is just like, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1. So it's a kind of binomial expansion that it creates. The same Pascal triangles was seen over here. When we looked at these triangles, they form what is called as Meru Prasthar. That named is Mount Meru, not Mount Meru, Mount Meru. So, and it became to be called as Pascal triangle. It was just recent time. This was the mathematics use of it. But then we have got used in every single direction. Acharya P.C. Roy, he wrote a book, Hindu Chemistry. And in his book, he has written many evidences which come from Vedas. So he elaborated and he gave elaborated explanation of atoms in molecules in Upanishads. Details experiments by Charak and Sushrut, that we talk about. Sushrut, known for surgery. Charak, known for medicine. So they talked about a lot of atoms, lot of chemicals long back. Subjects are ranging from the art of hair dyeing to various experiments with mercury. So he has given in his book, Acharya P.C. Roy. If you are a chemistry teacher, you should read this. So he has given a lot of evidences from our Vedas, from those Upanishads. This was another interesting fact that we found. Yajñashala was the real chemical and philosophical laboratory. So when we conduct, Yajña, Havan, today we are conducting for rituals, but they were conducting Yajñashala not just for rituals, but as a kind of real chemical and philosophical laboratory. And what we have seen, I was mentioning it earlier also, the geometry of Havan Kund that we could see. Yeah, probably I'll show you that also. Yeah, so this is what we could see, so we proved it in one of the articles. So I wrote it with Ekta Chandel from Devasaraswati University. Yajña Kund of one hest with different shapes has equal volume. This is what we proved in this article. And finally, we got a formula for the volume. So these were all those different kind of, Yajña Kunds, circular, triangular, hexagonal, square, semicircular, heptagonal. So all sort of Yajña Kund. But finally, what we could get, if there was an error, the error was very less and the volume was given by this particular formula. The formula which is given over here, the volume that we calculated, almost all the Yajña Kunds, they had the same volume. So, if they had same volume, I do not know what was the region. There must be some region. People are working on it. A lot of people are working on, on Yajñopathy, Yajña therapy and things like that. So, I was just interested in looking at the volume part of it. So I looked at that. Yeah. So Yajñavalkya Smriti, this gives us the process of purifying metals. So how did we purify metals? When we said, in the beginning, and I'll talk about metallurgy. In the beginning, when we said we have the oldest zinc mine, we had purest gold mine. Who was purifying it? So mine does not give you the purest form of gold. Somebody needs to purify it. And who was purifying it? So that means we had those purification mechanisms. And Yajñavalkya Smriti talk about it. Today's chemistry has achieved immense progress, but a well-built, perfect and documented system existed in India probably 2,500 years ago. So especially, I was talking about metals. So you're from a place where it is written from. So when Alauddin Khilji attacked Devgiri, for the first time defeated Ramdev Raya, he gifted him 700 kilogram of pure gold. Who was purifying that gold? We do not have a complete validation over here. But yeah, think about it. That time, he gave him pure gold. The most ancient old gold mine is still in use. We're talking about the same gold mine which is still in use in the name of Atti. It is in India. The oldest gold mine, about 2,000 years ago. And when they were, purifying the gold, how did they manage the temperature? These are some of the questions that, scientists are still asking, and probably they'll get in the days to come. At least 1,500 years old iron pillar. So this is what is seen over here. this iron pillar. This is near Qutub Minar in Delhi. Not a shred of corrosion. How can people build such a metal? So they are saying, it has got a lot of phosphorus. And so it is not, it does not have corrosion in it. But you think about the situation that 1500 years ago, they could build a pillar which does not have a shred of corrosion. Evidence is available that zinc was used in Rajasthan. I have seen this zinc mine. So this zinc mine was available in 9th century BC, the oldest zinc mine. And this is named as Jawar mines. Was in operation in 6th century BC. Europe had no knowledge of excavation of zinc till as late as 1740 AD. But we were doing it in the 6th century. So that was the knowledge that we had. When it comes to water, not only management, but also purification, also the water resources that we had. So first known dam in the world, which is still in operation, is Kalnai Dam. That was built by Chola King. And 1800 years ago, that dam was built and is still in operation. Earthen Dam, which was built by Pallav King during 500 to 13 years, that is also in operations. You may have seen a lot of Bawris in Gujarat, in Rajasthan. We have a lot of royal wells. So these are Bawris. They were built in excellent manner, not only for recharging water, but also storing groundwater. So channelizing and storing groundwater. So we can see very good designs still exist. A lot of Bawris are there. So these step wells, what we call them, royal wells, what we call them, dams, wells, step wells. So huge amount of literature is available on water management and storage. That we need to just see it. So that is the reason we used to call it as Sujalam Suplam. Sujalam is like water and water. We talk. The most elaborate description comes from Varaha Mihir. So it was in 505 AD. The encyclopedia titled as Brihat Samhita. So this was written, and in one of the chapters he wrote in the name of Udgarkal, which means storage of water. So he wrote 125 slokas in it from finding groundwater resources to storage. So that was available long back in 505 AD. This is what our heritage of culture is. In fact, what happened, this is a good story. What happened, this Brihat Samhita, it talks about finding groundwater resource. And in one of the professors, Professor E.F.V. Prasad from Sri Venkateshwara University in Tirupati, he tried to validate this argument, what was written over here. So he looked at around 300 bores and they found 95% places found water in it. So this is how the shlokas were written. So people have validated it recently, in fact. Most of the kings were aware of the water problems. They built different structures to store water. In fact, if you come and see in Rajasthan, I've seen these forts, Mehrangarh Fort, Nagaur Fort, very good water structure, storage structure, rainwater harvesting structure. So if you see those structures, long back we built them. This arrow pillar, we talk about GPS system. This arrow pillar exists in Somnath, Gujarat. Now, what is the beauty of this structure? Those who already know, probably they might have seen this part of the pillar. Somnath is one of those 12 Jyotirlingas. So what is beauty of this pillar? This is known as Ban Stamp, the arrow pillar. Ban is like, it is in the form of a barn. It stands in the temple. The available history mentions it in 6th century. Even if we assume that it was in 6th century, in the 6th century, what information did we have? This shows direction. And how does it show direction? On this pillar, what is written is this. Asamudrant Dakshin Dhruv Paryant Abadit Jyotirmarg. So it says, what does it mean? It means this. There is no obstruction in a straight line drawn from this point to the South Pole. Where are we going? One, it shows that the direction is South Pole. So they knew that there is South Pole at that time in 6th century. Even if we assume that it was erected in 6th century. All right, although it was erected long back, but even if we assume it was there in 6th century, 6th century people knew about South Pole. And the direction of South Pole, if you look at Google, people have seen that there does not exist any object between South Pole and this particular So people have not seen South Pole, but up to 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers, there is no object exist in that direction. So that people have already seen. And now people are validating it. So those people, even if we assume, so this is what is important to note over here. Even if we assume that there is no obstruction in the straight line drawn from this point to the South Pole. Okay, sorry. Even if we assume that the pillar was built in 600 AD, from where did our ancestors get the knowledge that the earth had a South Pole? This particular direction, people could not go to that direction. But I mean, how can we imagine, that this kind of statement when it is written over here? All right. Lastly, I'll show you some work that we have done in line with NEP. NEP talks about connecting. So we have connected some of the Vedic literature available with us with helping students getting rid of math phobia. And we have created these equipments. Learning by doing experiment is what we are doing. So we created these equipments and people are using it. More than 300 schools probably are using these equipment. So we have created all these equipments which are complementing our theoretical understanding, and we are trying to bring our ancient literature in it in the name of Vedic mathematics to begin with. Later we'll see if we are able to, just a second. Yeah, so just sharing with you this slide. So these are the equipment that we have built. Some of these equipment that you can see over here. So the whole objective of building these mathematical equipment was to help students learning mathematics quickly. And also we are now utilizing some of these boards with our Vedic mathematics tools, so that we'll also have the glory of mathematics teachings to these students. So yeah, that's some of our contributions we've done, we made, and yeah, so I'll stop over here. These are some of the references that I've used, some of my own articles, but yeah, this books, if you need to really understand the treasure trove of Indian knowledge, these two books may help. So one written by Prashant Pol, so he talks about it. And this the Ban Stamp and other things I was trying to show. So he talks about it. Pandit Sriram Sharma Acharya, my guru, he has given the book Contributions of India to Global Cultural Civilization. So he gives a lot of examples from ancient India, from Vedic philosophy till date. Where do we exist in terms of Indian knowledge? Where do we exist in terms of symbolic Indian knowledge? Where do we exist in terms of significant Indian knowledge? So this is what he talks about. Okay, so let me stop over here. If you have any comment, question, remark, I'll be happy to discuss that. Otherwise, thank you very much.
It was a wonderful lecture, sir. The points which you have shared, first time we are listening, and you have given so many references to it. So it was really wonderful listening to you. So I request any participants if they have any questions. Participants, do you have any questions?
Very good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Dr. Gangu from Central Tribal University. Sir, which you have given the complete references wonderful. Actually, I understood that is the first time, specialists in wise management and commerce and mathematics in all areas. Even you have taken some historical background also to understand the concept. Sir, one thing I want to ask you, you told me that like all these applications knowledge system, how we can apply to the next generation. Can you say that scientifically how we can apply on students when you are teaching to the students? Can you say any application oriented, like how we can take all these examples to apply in the syllabus where we are teaching? Like take example, I'm from management department. How can I apply all these, what you have even inputs, like you washed our brain and wonderful lecture. But tell me scientifically how we can apply all these applications in teaching methodology.
Yeah, so I wanted to show you one scientific application of that. That was the reason I showed you my paper on Vedic mathematics. So we did not just utilize the formulas available to us. We gave a new form of that, and we gave applications in cryptography and in chemical engineering, especially in signal processing. So we took those relevant contemporary applications and applied those formulas at that place. Now, when it comes to management, I am 100% sure that in management, you will find a lot of applications from our ancient literature. So people have been writing, talking about Hanuman and management, Shri Ram and management. I would not go in that direction, but you can find out a lot of, so for example, Chanakya Niti we talk about, policy people use it. All right. So a lot of policy makers were there. So even before Chanakya, people say, we had many people talked about economics. Many people talked about finance. How this, so one example which I was listening, probably it's an example of management. We call it a Chaturmas at our place. I don't know what is the name you call it is. In these 4 months, those saints start, so we have our rishis, our saints, they start talking, they start preaching to people. They'll stay at one place. And why do they stay at one place? It's a management that, at this time, people are free. They do not have any work to do, and their crops are growing. So they will, if they have time, rather than, making chaos, they should sit together doing satsang. Then people, the kings used to feed them. This is what is the management that they were using. So probably if we try to relate it with the contemporary world, we'll have a lot of applications.
Thank you, sir.
Room 3.
Sir, please mute them, whoever is talking. So if we are not having some other questions, we'll go for the vote of thanks.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Room 3. Room 3. Ma'am, mic unmute करा रहा हूँ.
Sir, my name is Dr. Gongo. If you don't mind, can I hand over it? Can I go?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, can I handle it?
Yes,
Can I
sir.
handle it, please?
Yes,
sir.
yes, please.
Very good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Sir, hello.
Sir, roll number
Vivek,
3
you're
is
very much
for
audible.
vote of thanks.
Madam,
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam, Dr. Gango is giving the vote of thanks. You can please mute yourself.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon, my dear friends, and good afternoon to sir and ma'am, and today's guest. Sir, your lecture, so I followed all because when you started initially, when you spoken about all historical background, even spoken about the temple's construction and all the things, and it was quite interesting. So I heard everything what you said, sir. It was a great lecture. And thank you so much, sir. And as well as, what you published, the papers also you have taken reference and you shown that like what you have done, how you contribute something to the society as well as to the culture, Indian culture and knowledge system. And thank you so much because, what you have given backgrounds, what you have given, everything is, useful to all the faculty members to apply in their specialization, to teach the students as well as to modify their culture as well as to bring new thing in the teaching methodology, sir. And thank you. And one more thing, sir, I have to mention here through your lecture and what you have taken the some pillars also you have taken. I have seen that one, the measurements how they have taken in those days and how this in these days even we are having more technology, and even though still people are thinking in those days people how they constructed, what the formula they used, what is the knowledge system, even then how they contributed towards the society and everything you have given examples, sir. What a great lecture, and thank you so much, sir. And ma'am, over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vivek Vijay. I know you are very busy and you just came for this lecture, and we are very thankful for you to accepting our invitation. And probably in the next sessions also, it was a wonderful lecture, so we will definitely invite you again. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
The coordinators, now we will be having our next lecture, so please be ready. We'll wait for the resource persons. He's Professor Bhagwan Sakhale. He will be coming soon from Chemical Technology Department.
Roll number 4 is there, na?
Roll number 4.
Roll number 4.
I think 4 is absent.
Five. Hello.
If you don't mind, can you share that PDF document in WhatsApp group, please?
It's already shared, sir. Gaurav sir already shared PDF in a WhatsApp group.
It is Professor Bhagwan Sakhale, sir, from Department of Chemical Technology. It is already shared, sir. You can just please go through it.
Roll number 5 is there, na? Hello. Roll number 5.
रोल नंबर 1 सर 42 नंबर जे आहे ना ते रीड करताय.
52 करता का?
हा 42 नंबरचे रीड करणार आहे.
42 नंबर. ठीक चालतं काय म्हणून.
Sir, roll number 42. Can I take it, sir?
यस यस
Yes,
यस.
sir. Go ahead. Go ahead. No problem.
वेट कीजिए सर. सर ज्वाइन हुए नहीं अभी तक.
Okay.
Sir is joining in a minute. I just talk to him. Sir has already joined. You can please start.
मॅम सरांचं माईक नाही आहे सर. दिसत आहे सिस्टममध्ये फक्त
साखळे सर, नमस्कार सर. सर, आपला माईक चालू नाहीये. Okay, I'll tell him. He's having some technical issues. He will leave and join again. Just hold on. Sakhale sir, can you hear us?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Okay, yes, please continue. Namaskar, sir. Welcome
Yeah.
for this refresher course. Yes, please continue, doctor.
Yeah. Very good afternoon, one and all. My name is Dr. Gangunaidu Mandala, Central Tribal University of Andhra Pradesh. Very good afternoon, everyone, once again. And you, sir, Professor BK Sakhale, sir. And now everybody should listen SAR's profile, because you know that when you read about elders' profile, it will motivate the people. It is the time to listen carefully elders like a profile, which will wash your brain. I hope everyone listen carefully, because it is a wonderful profile. I'm very happy to introduce today's resource person, Professor BK Sakhale, and he completed MTech and PhD. And his specialization is the food technology. Now working professor and head university in our esteemed university, Department of Chemical Chemical Technology, in our esteemed BAMU University, and Director of Research and Development Cell in our university.
We cannot hear you, Dr. Gangu.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, yes. Now we can hear you. Please continue. Yes, yes. Please continue.
Yeah. I'm very happy to introduce today's resource person, Professor BK Sakhale, and he has completed MTech and PhD, and his specialization is food technology. Now he is working as a professor and head of the department in our esteemed university itself, and Department of Chemical Technology. And he worked as a director in Gopinath Rao Munde National Institute of Rural Development and Research. And next one is that the former register also to this Baba Saheb Ambedkar Mathura University, Chhatrapati Shivaji Sambhaji Nagar, as well as a member of management council in this esteemed university. I'm very happy to introduce. He is having 26 years teaching experience, research in the other areas,
And he published 89 papers, national and international. And one more important thing is that he is having H index 18, I index 36. And as well as he has given many expert talks, and more than 97 talks he has given as an expert in other areas. And as well as he has published 28 book chapters. He presented 87 papers, national and international. And he attended 63 conferences. And as well as he got the project, you know how much, 50 lakhs project also, DST project. And he did in this our esteemed university only. He guided UG 89 members projects guided, and PG 28, and PhD 6 members awarded, and still are pursuing 5 members. And as I told you, that one is research areas, food technology, and fruits and veg and processing technology, food safety and quality areas he has done. As well as he has given many lectures in other countries, Israel, Spain, on Maldives. And one more important point you have to observe here, he published patents also, 4 patents published and 2 are granted. And wonderful profiles, sir. And special trainings also have given international level. So he participated in many training programs, and as well as abroad, international level, and visiting faculty also at the University of Santiago University in Spain. And in a national level, he has given many training programs, like more than 15 training programs he has given, even Infosys. In a Kerala, Trivandrum also he participated. In Mysore also he participated. Like, throughout India, in all the places, he participated in different training programs as a resource person. And seminars also, as I told you, that one, he has maximum 87 seminars he participated, as well as presented papers. And one more important point, he was a member of in many academic council programs in our university, as well as in other universities also. He received many awards, like a DJS Pruthi Award 2022, and Professor J.S. Sidhu Award 2018, like member of Management Council in present university. Like this, he is having many awards as well as a member. And as I told you, that one, he published many patents also, and granted 2 and 4 patents are published. And he is a professional member of Association of Food and Science Scientific Technology, Mysore, and Indian Society of Agricultural Biochemist and Kanpur, and Nutrition Society of India, NIM Hyderabad, and Indian Association for Science Fiction Studies, Vellore. And he is having professional membership in these areas. And apart from that, he is having some academic responsibilities. As I told you, that one, he is academic counselor MIT, Autonomous College, which is in the same university, affiliated to the same university in Maharashtra, and member academic council and Dhyanagiri College, and chairperson to the many academic council boards in throughout India. We cannot say there are many colleges, sir. It takes more time to study, but I'm very happy to read this profile. I'm so lucky. Some person missed this one, but I'm so lucky got this opportunity to introduce this great person. Sir, this profile motivated all the participants, sir. Thank you so much. I welcome you on behalf of our esteemed university. Thank you, everyone.
Recording in progress.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I have shared the PPT. It is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay. Thank you. Now we will start. The topic is Indigenous Knowledge System and Indigenous Thoughts in the context of NEP 2020. We all are aware that in most of the state has implemented the national education policy 2020, in which these skill development or skill education, particularly in different languages, local language, regional language, and mother tongues are available. The purpose is just in order to disseminate this knowledge, technical know-how, and activity-based learning or experiential learning. The motto is that in IKS, particularly I will talk about these indigenous foods or traditional foods. Here we have started and now where we stand. So what is the IKS? You might be knowing that because this course is totally on the indigenous knowledge system. That is a local or indigenous knowledge that we are having this our tradition, that we are disseminating the knowledge from one generation to next generation. Therefore, local or indigenous knowledge means that has been developed through the experiences, experiments, or some orally or recorded or any form. And technical know-how that refer to the cumulative and complex bodies of knowledge. Know-how, practices, and representations that are maintained not in the form of the black and white or from the in the form of different stories, different tales, or different types of these uh, local languages are maintained and developed by the local communities who have long histories of interaction with the natural environment. So the most important the natural resources that we are well aware that we have to preserve it, we have to conserve it. That's why this represent the community based, because in tribal areas, what is knowledge they have preserved, conserved, and they are disseminating. Now we have modified it as far as the today's technological era, and traditional and locally evolved knowledge that has been developed, adopted, and transmitted across generations. Among its many domains, food and nutrition play a very central role, a crucial role or vital role, as indigenous food reflects a deep relationship between people, culture, and ecosystem. It's a combination. This is not only just in order to uh, get rid of from hunger, but it's a related to the people, cultures, ecosystem, and their traditions and festivals. So this is most important that in today's era, the Western foods have entered in our market and they are having creating number of the problems. That also we are become the victims of different lifestyle diseases. Therefore, when we are talking about this indigenous knowledge system, that is really sustainable one, and now we are very much aware that we have to think about the sustainable development. Particularly in agriculture, it is very difficult, but every day 3,000 hectares of land is declining, and therefore they are converted into non-agriculture, and so the population is ever increasing, and the land under the cultivation is ever decreasing. That's what it creates number of the problems in future. Therefore, we are talking about the sustainable development, and we have to think about this indigenous knowledge, how our ancestors they have maintained, and now we have to again think or look into the our history, so that we can think about this new generation. What is the sustainable development? We are aware that that is referred to the mode of human development. Without development, we cannot do anything. Maybe industrial development, maybe environmental development, or any development we can talk about it. In which resources? What are the resources? Natural resources like land, then forest, then water, then the local communities, local resources. These are these natural resources that we have to maintain. We have to, it has been exhausted. Therefore, that use aims to meet the human needs. Our human wants are unlimited. For the benefit of our development, we have devastated the lands and forests as well, while ensuring the sustainability of natural systems. And then we want the development, but that should be inclusive. That means it should be eco-friendly. So we have to develop the green technologies. Earlier we were with the organic farming. Now we are talking about the organic farming nowadays. So that these needs can be met not only in the present, but also for the generation to come. Therefore, we have to look into the history that what are the Indian agriculture. It was the agrarian country, and particularly it was the backbone of the Indian economy. But unfortunately, today we cannot say that our economy is based on agriculture because it contributes only 13% of GDP. At the time of independence, we were contributing 60%. But nowadays, the share of this agriculture in GDP is ever decreasing. So it is very unfortunate. We are unfortunate that we could not maintain, and it engaging the population 65%. Majority of the population living in the rural areas, therefore their source of the employment is depend on agriculture. So it provides the raw materials for industries, food, fodder, fuel, revenue for the rural population. Therefore, majority of the population depends directly on agriculture and its allied sector. So agriculture is the platform for production of the foods. Then we can talk about traditional foods, how we have developed or transmitted from this Indian food to the Western foods. Now, as per the Maslow hierarchy of needs, the physiological need, the food is a basic need. The food, water, and warmth and rest. These are the physiological needs. So, in pyramids, you can say basic needs, then psychological needs or safety needs, then esteem needs, and self-actualization. This is decreasing. So the even in today, the food is playing a very crucial role. You might have experienced during the COVID. Without food or the food when logistics was failed, then we have experienced this how the food shortage have affected our livelihood. So this as per this needs, the food is the basic need or physiological need. Why the food is important? It provides nutrition. If you are consuming good food, then you will get a good nutrition. If you consume the balanced food, then you will get a balanced nutrition. And it leads to the results into a good health. And during the hello, Dr. Waksaur, slides are not moving. Hello.
So slides moving.
Slides move.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Slides are moving or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Somebody has raised the hand. That's why I asked. We'll take the question and answer at the last 10 to 15 minutes. Don't worry. If there are any queries or doubt, you can note down. And the end of the session, we'll have the question and answer session. The food is the anything that commodity we can consume or we can ingest, digest, and that is assimilated in our body. So the good food having the good nutrition and that lead to the good health. That's why in order to provide the nutritional security. Now we were talking about the food security, but one step ahead we can say that nutritional security. But in COVID, it is underlined that if you are not having this good nutrition, then you will not have this immunity. Therefore, good food will provide a good nutrition, that nutritional security, and if the food is having the good nutrients, then it will provide the health security. So both will give the social security and the food security. That's why health is wealth, and that's why food is life, and food is coming from the agriculture. So we have to think about what are the technologies we have taken from our ancestors and we are keeping or we are conserving the technology. Just we have modified. Number of these communities, particularly tribal communities, they are having the knowledge in their particularly in community. They are having number of the techniques they have developed for cooking techniques, blanching techniques, even manufacturing of these different types of alcohols from these mova flowers. And so they were knowing the art how to produce that product, but they were not knowing the scientific reason or scientific basis. But now what we have done, we have to commercialize it, we have to made it from the small scale to large scale. So this is the food. That's why the food is life. And in India particularly, we have experienced after this 1970 that when the famine was there, we imported the food from America under the Public Law 480 scheme, and then we started the Green Revolution. What will happen from the sustainable development? Actually, this is the one of the threat, but that was the cause why there was the famine or any climatic changes, or we are not growing, population was growing, but agriculture productivity was reduced. So that during that period, we imported the wheat and some other food products or even processed milk products. And green revolution, what he has given to us, that the use of the high-yielding varieties, use of the pesticides, insecticides, herbicides. We introduced the irrigation systems in order to provide the water to the specific crops. It was happen only two crops major, wheat and rice. But rest of the crops, we can say the technology was not developed. But we are experiencing that is green revolution first. We are now under the doorstep of the green revolution too. Even today, because of the excessive use of the chemical fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, even in Punjab, you might have experienced that number of the problems are number of created because of the use of this type of the heavy pesticide insecticides. Whatever food are consuming, whether it is questionable that whether the food is safe or not, whether it is contains some heavy metals or any hazards. So today, whatever we are consuming, that food is not safe up to the certain extent because it contains some residues of the pesticides, insecticides. Therefore, when we talk about the sustainable development, whether the production goes on increasing or it will decrease, because we have adopted that was in some extent it was a destructive and our pH of the soil increased due to the excess use of these fertilizers and excess water. It becomes lime more than 8.5 pH, and that's why the productivity. Deforestation against the climate change or global warming we have experienced. So in that case, what will happen in future if we are not adopting the technique that our ancestors were adopted? They have adopted the technique. So we have to think about this green revolution too, how it can be more towards the natural. This is that's called a green revolution. Second revolution that we have explained that white revolution in case of the increasing the production of the milk. And now we are the largest producer of the milk in the world. And we are not only the production, we are also exporting our products. We are exporting our technologies to the neighboring countries. Now everybody is getting the sufficient quantity of milk which is available. It is because of the Operation Flood programs implemented in the country by the under the able leadership of the Dr. Varghese Kurian. And also we are having ample of these milk powders or milk products. But in the this white revolution, now what happened later on 90 or 95 because of the privatization, liberalization, or that we can call it the LPG, privatization, globalization. The Western foods entered in our market. That we are consuming the ice creams. That is not our indigenous product or Indian product. Kulfi is the Indian product. Amul has introduced kulfi or Indian products. Butter is not Indian product. We are having the makhan or loni. Then butter is a Western dairy product. Yogurt is a Western dairy product. Condensed milk is a Western dairy product. So number of the Western dairy products are introduced in the market, and whatever the indigenous product we are having, now we have to think that the indigenous product should be brought in the umbrella of this branded product. That is our indigenous or indigenous technology that prepared by the using indigenous technology. That in dairy sector, most of the cheeses have been introduced on a product. When Amul is trying our best our the own brand, dairy cooperative brand, they have introduced number of the indigenous milk products like paneer, then kulfi, and they are having the good hold on the market. This is why regarding the white revolution. As far as the yellow revolution, it was related with the oilseed production, particularly edible oil production. Unfortunately, being a agricultural country, we are not still self-sufficient in the oilseed production. We are importing the oil from Malaysia, where our expenditure in near about 1 lakh crore every year. We are importing 145 metric tons oil every year from this Malaysian country or Indonesia. So we are not self-reliant. We are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, Swalambi Bharat. But unfortunately, we are not self-sufficient in the oil seed. Our consumption per capita per year is 14.5 kg. If we increase only the 0.5, then there will be oil crisis. That's why under the National Oilseed Mission, we have to again adopt the indigenous technology because sunflower is not originated in India. We have it import. Whatever the sesame, safflower, even mustard or the groundnut, this such type of these even other oilseed crops that we have to again grow. We have to think about our indigenous crop. What was the condition? Then again we can make these production sufficient for the Indian. So these sectors were lagging behind. Therefore, National Oilseed Mission or special policy government has implemented, and also we are trying to import such type of the oil palms from these neighboring countries and bring in such a way that will become self-sufficient. So the edible oil we are not self-sufficient. Second revolution is the golden revolution. It is related with the increased production of the fruits and vegetables because they are the protective foods. Everybody should consume at least 85 to 90 gram of the fruit and 300 gram of the vegetable per day. They provide all the vitamins and minerals, and they will provide the immunity to the human beings. And during COVID, it is underlined that those are consuming such type of the fruits and vegetables or having the high immunity. So they provide these vitamin C particularly and minor nutrients, particularly vitamins and minerals. We are now self-sufficient. In case of the fruits and vegetables, we are the second largest producer in the world. Even we are exporting our fruits and vegetables. Therefore, we have to consume it. That's why International Year 2021 is celebrated as the International Food Year. And Blue Revolution that related with this increasing production of these seafoods, particularly fishes, then aquatic. So these are the revolution that resulted into the increase in food production. That will be available for fresh consumption, for export, as well as for the processing purpose. But we have to think that whether they are produced by using the indigenous technology or not. This is again question mark. So we will think even having the highest production, most of the commodities, country is the largest producer in the world. But unfortunately, out of the total production, whatever we are producing, when we think about the export purpose, only our export is 1.5%. That means out of 100 kg, you can consider only the 5 to 6 kg are up to the mark for the export. That's why we have to again think, we have to again use the indigenous technology. That will increase the production, but that will also improve the quality. In case of the pollination, we have adopted the hybrid technology. Because of hybridization, because the pollination and ecosystem has been disturbed. You can, in case of the even honeycombs, you will not see anywhere. Because of the spraying of this pesticide, all they are now endangered species. And that's why the pollination or the quality of the seeds are not up to the mark, are substandard quality. Therefore, even having the highest production, don't have any supply chain management. We are losing about 1/3 of the foods across even globe and in India also. In case of the fruits and vegetables, we are losing our 35% food. That means we are not losing only the nutrients. We are also losing the energy in terms of this labor and capital, then water used for these growing the crops, and needlessly produced greenhouse gases emissions, contributing to the global warming and climate change. And that's why we have to think about this indigenous technology, eco-friendly technology in agriculture. It is the need of the hour. And then our ancestors, what they were using the farming practices on the basis of their climatic conditions, soil health, and environmental conditions. So accordingly, again, we are facing number of the problems. What are the global challenges? And today we have to find out the solution of the global problem. So we are taking the responsibility that India is the leading country in 2047. We will be the leader, global leader. That is, we can call it as a Vishwaguru. So when we think about that, we should also in position to find out the solution for the global problem. What are the global challenges in case of agriculture or in case of our foods? That is the enough food production. Because of the global warming, shortage of water, then deterioration of the soil health, conversion of the agriculture land into non-agriculture because of the development projects are going on, roads, then urbanizations, mega projects for the industries. So our land is going on decreasing, and it puts on pressure on agriculture that in order to increase the productivity, production, doubling the farmer's income, in order to get the good remunerative present. So the sustainability is the major issue in agriculture and food production. So that we have to think very cautiously that food production should be increased, because as on today, population rate is more than agriculture food production. It's 1.4% rate of production of agriculture produce, and rate of the growth of the population is 2. Therefore, in order to bridge this gap, we have to adopt these sustainable techniques or green technologies, so that we can also reduce the emission of the greenhouse gases. With enough food production, it will global challenge. This is the way to find out the sustainable. And through the indigenous knowledge system, we can find out this solution to the problems of this. Second one is the safe food. Whatever food we are consuming, whether it is safe. So what is safe food? Nutritious food, we are thinking about we should get the nutritious food. Every citizen has the right to get a nutritious food as well as safe. Safe food means the food which is free from any hazard. Hazard means any biological commodity or any physical or a chemical commodity that harms our health. That is called a safe food. No doubt it should be nutritious, but it should not contain any harmful constituent or heavy metals or any poisonous or any toxins or any food infection microorganisms. So the safe food means food is free from any hazard. Maybe free from the genetically modified food, GM hazards, free from physical hazards, chemical hazards, or microbial. That food we require, and it should have the quality in terms of the nutrition. When we are consuming food for a specific purpose, if you are consuming tomato, it should be rich in lycopene content. If you are consuming the milk, it should be rich in the milk fat, or it should have the fat from the milk origin. Because in adulteration, or in order to making the foods unsafe, they are adding the substandard material, and it leads to the food adulteration. Again, further it leads to the food poisoning or food infection in intoxication. So this is a global challenge in order to get a good food or safe food or having the good nutrients. Third category that even during this from COVID we learned that the food along with the nutrition, it should provide some health benefit that we can call as a nutraceuticals or the health supplement, because it boosts your immunity. Whatever food are consuming, particularly Western foods, pizzas, burgers, or bakery products, they are lacking in the health property. They are containing some carcinogenic compounds. When we heat the product more than 120 degrees centigrade and rich in the carbohydrate and protein, then there is a possibility of development of the production of carcinogenic compound. Therefore, that food we are having, that should be nutritious and healthy. And last one global challenge, that is good food. Even having the nutritious, but it should be tasty, it should be digestive, it should have some biofunctional properties, it should have the bioavailability of the nutrient. So the good food. These are the 4 challenges. And all the world is spoiling around finding solution to these problems. And definitely, solution of these problems are in our indigenous system, or your ancestors they were having this solution of these problems, but by the interference of the human development or development industrial development, the human has changed our everything, and that's why we are facing the number of the problems because of consumption of this junk foods. We are having number of lifestyle diseases, chronic diseases. So we have to think about in order to find the global challenges in order to save our planet. Even today in India, 35% population are facing the problems of malnutrition, obesity, starvation. Malnutrition is the reality, as well as the overnutrition that leads to the obesity. Both are the realities. We have to work or we have to find out a solution for both the problems. Even today, some people are finding solution for their weight reduction, and few are also finding solution for the weight. So both are the realities. So the domain graph for this by the 2050, even 9 to 10 billion humans, they will suffer the problems. The demographic growth will be more than cannot provide the food to the population, the increasing in that order. Our trend is the same if it maintains same. So aging of the population and longevity increases because of this advancement in medical sciences. So 60 to 70% will live in the mega cities. So we have to think about these technologies, sustainable technologies. Therefore, we have to increase the food production and maintain the supply and demand management. Then the double burden on the malnutrition, deficiency plus obesity, and climate change, that is between 1 to 2 degrees centigrade temperature increase because of there is no plantation because we have for the development of the industrial development or the unhuman thinking that we have devastated their lands and it's just like barren land and this will result into the global warming. They are the victims of that. So the food security will be in danger. Therefore, we have to be ready for in order to maintain this problem. So what the Food and Agriculture Organization, when they have celebrated 75 years, then they have given the slogan that grow, nourish, sustain together. Because we are dependent on the agriculture, we want the development, but it should be the inclusive economic development along with the environment. So the grow, nourish, and sustain together. What we have to do? That is our actions, our approach. We have to take the appropriate actions. When we talk about the sustainable development goals, the first important goal is the no power. That all people should come from the BPL to APL. That's why government are implementing number of the ambitious programs, ambitious schemes in order to bring them above these poverty line. That is called as APL, above poverty lines. And therefore, our action is more important. When we take the appropriate action today, definitely it will bear the fruits. Our actions are our future. Particularly in our food systems, or we are consuming the 7,000 plant species used as a food. Because of the development in technology, we are also depending upon the value addition. After processing whatever waste we are having, we are converting that waste into wealth. That is called the valorization of the waste. It happened because of the advancement in food processing technology or agriculture technology. But 150 species are considered commercial. Even though number of these tribal community, they are having the important species, they are having the medicinal properties, Ayurvedic properties. But even we cannot put them into the picture, or we have not explored that, we have not tapped that their commercial importance. So 103 species provide 90% of the food that, and 3 species that are most is the wheat, rice, and maize. Across the globe, produce 56% of all the calories consumed by the humans. Earlier, we were consuming the millets. That was our staple food. After the Green Revolution, that we change and we are more dependent upon the rice and the wheat that become our major staple food. What are the emerging issues that we are in food sector or even food that we are facing in the current scenario or changing scenario? Because we are experiencing that 35% population is having the problems on malnutrition. Malnutrition means their one nutrient is deficient, maybe protein, maybe carbohydrate, maybe vitamins or minerals. If the nutrition is deficient, it will lead to any diseases. If vitamin C is deficient, scurvy or bleeding from the gums, immunity will get reduced. And if the one nutrition is more, particularly in case of the fat, you are consuming more fats, it will lead to the obesity. Both are the realities. So we have to find out these solution or remedies in order to solve this problem. Second, the globalization of food and food wastage. I already explained that. 35% are waste happening. When after production, from farm to fork, during the supply chain management, 35% foods are going. Therefore, farmers will not get any benefit. Even consumer will not get any benefit. We are losing the nutrient, we are losing our revenue, we are losing our employment. We are also producing these pollution problems because of the throwing or the spoil or these. So we have to think about in order to minimize or reduce these post-harvest losses by application of the sustainable technologies or the technology, the indigenous technologies, where we can develop the zero energy cool chamber in absence of light, how we can reduce the temperature. So such type of these eco-friendly techniques or green techniques we have to find. Third problem, that is alarming increase in lifestyle diseases. Number of the problems we have invited, that is by diabetes, blood pressure, stress, mental stress, physical stress, because of our lifestyle, we have invited this problem, that is coronary heart diseases. So that is we are not having the balanced diet. We are become monotonous to these bakery products or foods. Even it is observed that in one of the survey, 35 to 60% young population, they are suffering the problems of protein calorie management. The protein is most important for the development of the human body for growth and development. But because of the non-consumption of this balanced diets, they are not included all type of the cereals, legumes, pulses, or these fruits and vegetables. They are facing suitable. Food is a medicine. That's why we have to depend upon the and advances in food technological processing and packaging, that we are presuming the nutrients, we are presuming these perishable commodities, seasonal commodities, and the techniques that developed by our ancestors or forefathers, that was the unique. How to preserve the commodity, that pickling process, the fermentation process, you are storing of the seeds for next in the wooden and the earthen pots in the underground silos, storage of the food grains by using these Carcamis plant materials. So they have used and by packing them by using the cow dung. So that technology was very sustainable. Even there were no any problems of the pest and insects in order to reduce these food wastage or food grain storage. So such type of the technology we are having, we have modified, we have made it into a commercial level. Next problem that we are facing is the opportunity to address the public health issues through the diet and lifestyle. Now, but because of the development of science and technology, we came to the conclusion that what type of the deficiencies are there that will lead to a specific disease. So in case of this diabetes, we are knowing that if you consume the vegetables, particularly vegetables are low GI foods, definitely your sugar will become. So it totally depends upon the food. Even diseases, 60 to 70% diseases or disorder might be due to the food only and water only. So this is most important that what are the traditional techniques or traditional foods when you consume, definitely we will get rid of such type of the disorder. So it is now linked that if you consume a specific food, you will get a specific food. That is food and diet or diet and disease. That is now well understood, well known. So we have to think about that. About harmonization of food laws nowadays in India, under the leadership of the Narendra Modi, they have implemented one food law only, that is FSSAI, Food Safety Standard Authority of India, one nation and one food laws. That is combination of these 16 laws. Availability of the active ingredients. We can think that the longevity of our forefathers were more than us because of the whatever the food they were consuming, traditional food, they were rich in the active. They were grown in organic, naturally, without addition of this type of the chemical fertilizer, pesticides. So we have to think about this availability of the active ingredients in our food, whether it's present or not. Because these farmers, instead of farmer merchants, they are in order to make the profits, they are adding the substandard material or removing the valuable question from it. Then evidence-based science linking diet to disease. I already explained that when you consume a specific food, then that will even cure or prevent the specific disease. That means curative and preventive, both the role can be done by this. Consumer needs convenience. Nowadays, what we are experiencing, we are having the food, on the go foods, whenever you demand, Swiggy, Zomato, or any e-platforms are available. You just order within 10 to 15 minutes, you will get the food. That we require convenience, that is easy to tear. They need to have the nutrients during the processing. We can add the micronutrients and minor nutrients also, so that this type of these emerging issues nowadays we have to face, and the solution are in the our forefathers or the indigenous technology or indigenous knowledge systems. What are the indigenous food systems that we can see here? Whatever we are consuming, the fruits, vegetables, tubers, roots, different types of crops we are consuming. Nowadays, we have become monotonous to either rice or wheat or only dal or so. All these roots and tubers are the fruits and vegetables, flowers, pods, then stems. Everything should be in our diet. So that was the indigenous food system. Whatever the seasonal fruits, regional fruits, local fruits, that is the only solution for the our getting the balanced diet. So there is some indigenous food system, particularly all the millets are depending upon the millet. Now 2023, the world has declared celebrated as the International Millet Years. They are having the low GI, they are free from gluten, which leads to the celiac diseases, leads to the colon cancers, number of the problems of the colons. So those are consuming the wheat from generations together, particularly in case of the US, number of these gluten tolerance problems intolerance problems they are facing, and so that they are becoming victims of celiac diseases, and they are resulting in the death. So, in order to avoid this, we have to introduce the millet in our system. Millet are the superfoods. Millets are the natural foods. So, the International Millet Year, the objective or celebration of this year that we have to include the millets in our diets. Maybe ragi, barley, they are rich in the micronutrients, rich in calcium, and free from gluten. After consumption, they will reduce your blood glucose. So for diabetic patients, these foods are important. Indigenous food systems are there coiling around the three major aspects. One is health and nutrition. I explained you that they are rich in micronutrients, major nutrients, selenium, zinc, calcium, and they are easily available. They are cheap source of this. And natural resource and biodiversity, they will maintain, we can grow on the wastelands, laterite soil, and not need, they will not need any specific nutrients or the chemical fertilizers or rich soils. So such type of the even wasteland or barren land, they can grow, but they are research source of the micro, and we can maintain the biodiversity. Language and culture, all these our ancestors, forefathers, they were knowing their language, when which type of the crop should be grown, which type of the soil is required, what type of the climate is required. Even they were growing the nearby the villages when there was a waterlogging condition. They have selected their rice can be only grown, high pH soil. Only the rice is possible. So they were knowing all this knowledge. That's why they have developed this crop rotation pattern. Then soil and crop pattern, the compatibility of this crop and soil, climate with relation to climate, and their requirement of that population, that is called as a regional population or local population. All these three are coiling around this indigenous food system, and that was our forefather ancestors they have maintained. But due to the name of the development or in order to keep pace with these developed countries, we have lagging behind or maintaining our indigenous knowledge system, especially for culture and the traditional. This indigenous food system, that is indigenous people food system, we can call it as per this locality. Then we can call as a land, then water, then population residing in the particular village. That is called as the holistic development was there. That energy management, according to their need, they have developed their resources for this energy. That we are raising where the bullocks or livestock were used for the energy sector, for the plowing, for this cultivating. So that was based on this agriculture. So the agriculture biomass is as a feed for them, and that energy used for this agriculture purpose. And whatever the byproduct that is milk and wool that was used for their shelter. Those type of the ecosystem was there. That ecosystem we had disturbed because of the name of the people. So that resilient ecosystems that we have to need. Again, we have to resurgence. That is what a resurgence of this that indigenous technology. Diversification of the crops and foods according to our climatic condition, according to our requirement. That diversification of the crops and that will improve the soil microfauna. That will improve our natural content of the carbon of soil and food crop we have to select. That is the medicine. That will totally depend upon the medicine from the various plants, flora and fauna. And they were knowing that techniques. That again, that medicinal that in even ancient history, the Susrut and they have we have contributed a lot in the uh, development of the science and technology in the world. The indigenous technologies are superior because in particular in education, the what we are experiencing the brain drain earlier in ancient era, peoples were coming from these developed countries to study in the India because Nalanda and Takshashila University. Such types of technologies, even China or Silk Route was in India, that they were having the uh, transportation or facilities of these textiles and everything that we can read in history. That we were having the richest in the world. But under the name of the development, or we can say due to our greedy nature, that environment or that ecosystem has been totally adoption to the climate change. The crop should be as per the climate requirement. The soil pH has been increased, so that is reduced this productivity. Again, we have to develop this crop in such a way that is for the climate resilient technology or the crop or to find out that will grow in the high pH soil, water loving condition, or where there is shortage of water. So that is abiotic stress or biotic stress. Accordingly, we have to develop the technology. For harvesting, hunting, fishing, and gathering, they were having their own skills that called as life skills. How to harvest, how to thresh it, even by with the help of the bullocks. Under the feet of these bullocks, they were harvesting. In round shape, you might have experienced in, you might have even heard of from your parents or even grandfather that for harvesting they were using bullocks or even by using the wooden sticks they were having the tools they were developed from the indigenous technology. Then hunting, they have developed their own weapons, hunt these animals, then fishing, then gathering, then cooking, all these technologies that were the indigenous technology. Developed by India, developed by using their crude devices, developed in their own knowledge, by using their own knowledge, or knowledge transformed from the transmitted to their generations together. Then solidarity mechanisms, social identity, spirituality, they were linked these food festivals along with their harvesting seasons, cultures and traditions, type of consumption of specific foods, local foods, preparation number of the products on these festive seasons. So this traditional knowledge, with their traditional knowledge, they have maintained their biodiversity. That was the holistic development with the help of all this agriculture along with the livestock maintenance along with these and flora and fauna. These are the indigenous food systems we have experienced before. Then hundreds of food items not in mainstream food distribution. Now, number of the foods are now endangered. Just we are seeing that these oilseed crops are now we are not observing. Number of the even sesame will not find out. So number of these even honeycombs or honeybees will not even observe. Even the uh, different types of the animals that we use for this agriculture purpose. Even we have reduced that livestock population. We are maintaining only one or two cows or buffaloes. Means that due to the mechanization, that power of the power depend on the agriculture. That totally depend upon the energy sector or depending upon the mechanism. So custodian of the 80% remaining biodiversity, that is the mother laboratory. That is our grandmother. They were having this knowledge of this different types of the techniques, how to harvest, how to cultivate, which of the crops to be cultivated. So So these are the some pulses and indigenous food system, that is the source of the protein. While the pulses multi-purpose, they are having the proteins. They are also used for the fencing purpose, or used as a fire. All they were depending upon, they are all very smartly, they were using these all the natural resources. One crop, multiple uses. One crop, many stories. We'll find out in our Indian knowledge system. So adapted to the forest planting, all our varieties were importing the number of these uh, plants for the Vraksharopan and forestation. But what the indigenous plant which we have to cultivate, we have to plant, then and then we can maintain the biodiversity. The byproducts, they were converting the byproducts into a valuable product, waste to wealth. That is called as a product, everything useful. Just as a coconut, we have used number of the products are prepared from the coconut. Even bamboo, number of the products are you can see them from the bamboo. We are using number of even bamboo pickles from the bamboo shoot. Number of the products we can prepare, food product as well as non-food items are prepared from the. They were knowing this knowledge of value addition, how to get the value from this their system. So these are the number of just examples I have put. Now the Indian knowledge system into the skill-based curriculum development. We are talking about the national. So in order to incorporate this skill-based education or ability enhancement, that again we have to think about. That is called as a resurgence we can say. But to again go back to our ancient or origin, we have to look into this. What is the indigenous knowledge system? What we can bring it into our skill-based curriculum development. We are all from the academic practice. So we have to think in such a way that we can incorporate or we can include technology, particularly related to indigenous knowledge technology or IKS or IKT, indigenous knowledge or technical knowledge, we have to implement in the new curriculum. How we can develop the curriculum which is skill based and which are related to our indigenous knowledge system. That is, indigenous knowledge system is the body of a traditional knowledge that developed over the thousands of years. That is now we have to preserve, we have to conserve, particularly in India, covering the science, technology, or culture, philosophy, and sustainability. So what we are doing for the sustainable development? Even due to this, even the attack of the different, you can say the Britishers or even we have maintained our culture because it is rooted in Indian ethos. We have not followed the westernization. Recently, now it has a very positive impact on us. So again, we have to think that how we can bring indigenous knowledge in our midst. So why focus on the Indian foods? Because it has a deep connection between the foods, health, culture, and ecology in traditions. All our festivals, they are even in particular our region, they are even the regional preferences, food preferences, cultural differences. But we are maintaining the integrity, we are maintaining the unity in our nation. That is the urgent need to revive the indigenous diets to combat the malnutrition. Because in earlier forefathers, they were not having any problems on because they were consuming the locally available, not the imported. Therefore, they were rich in that particular nutrient, particular. They were acclimatized with their lifestyles. They were curing or preventing the diseases, the environmental degradation. So the National Education Policy 2020 vision is to integrate the cultural heritage, traditional wisdom into the formal educations while fostering the skills, innovation, and sustainability. All these are playing a very important role. That is skill enhancement, or skill development. If the skill is there, we have to upskilling, innovation, and research and innovation, and ultimately we have to maintain the sustainability. So this IKS is very playing an important role. What is the provision of the IKS and food heritage? Because we are in under this NEP policy 2020, holistic multidisciplinary education. There were even the watertight compartments are there. Science, technology, standalone universities, agricultural universities, health universities, medical universities, sports universities, any specific universities are. But we have to break this watertight compartment. We have to should have the holistic multidisciplinary approach, that is Meru. Under this Meru, we should work together. So there should be no stream like art, commerce, science. All we have to think equally and inclusively. Then we can develop the technique and we can bring out this indigenous knowledge system into a practical approach. The courses to include the cultural context, local traditions, and practical application. So the local, regional are most important words in this national education. And for the vocational education, they include agriculture, food processing, and culinary heritage. In Maharashtra, government is thinking to put agriculture as a subject during the schooling education. Already the work is going on. So whatever we are totally having the agriculture base, our country is the agriculture base, our culture is agriculture, agrarian culture. So that subject should be included in from primary education because all the 65% population depend on the agriculture. So under the NEP that the even the studying the all subjects when we learn by doing or projectivity or activity based learning or experiential learning are most important. That is possible only when we learn specific subject through the practical orientation. So food processing and culinary heritage, integration of the local context, this is most important. Curriculum rooted in the local geography, biodiversity, and cultural practices. That will be the good integration. That will be for this sustainability. Research and innovation is the very important in the national education policy. That should be reflected in our curriculum. So while designing the different type of verticals and framing this syllabus and development of the curriculum, we have to think government has given the restriction that how much credit you can take or earn from this uh, uh, ability enhancement skill or vocational education or from research innovation or indigenous knowledge system or how to inculcate the humanities means the study and documentation of the ancient practices for the modern application. We have to think locally, globally, but act locally. So we have to use that techniques or the knowledge that transmitted through the generations from generation in us. Therefore, promotion of the millets and local crops. Instead of importing the crops from the outside, because we are again importing the avocados in Maharashtra, the avocado farming is going. So they are bringing the seedling from these Israel and number of the other countries. So we have to promote our local crops, which they are very familiar to our climatic conditions. Promotion of the millets, local crops linked to the nutrition, climate resilience, and livelihood aligned with the International Year of Millet 2020. The relevance of these traditional foods when we think about the nutrition, they are having the good nutrition. Is ragi, resource of the calcium. Culture, depending upon we are having these different cultures, in particular even Gujarat, even South, North, Maharashtra, they are different culture. But we are having the unity and we are having the food pattern, tradition pattern, little bit different from this region to region. Because it is the Indian ethos or it is rooted in our Indian culture. Environment are interconnected. Example, Ayurvedic diets, seasonal food habits. So we have to consume the seasonal foods. But because of the technology, we are importing the number of the processed foods from these developed countries. Different of the imported foods are available in our markets. Role in the tackling the modern lifestyle diseases like sugar or diabetes, type 2 diabetes, then lifestyle diseases, chronic disease like heart attacks or the blood pressures. So we can handle with help of the indigenous. A rationale for skill-based courses on traditional foods, the nutritional value, ancient diet balance according to the Ayurveda, what to be eaten in the evening, what to be eaten in the morning, afternoon, depending upon season. Seasonal variation was there, regional variation was there, body type base. Even south will find these seafoods along with the rice because the rice will provide the carbohydrate, seafood will provide the protein. Some roots and tubers are used. They will provide the carbon as well as nutrient. Such type of this combination, regional, seasonal, and uh, local combination of the local population. The sustainability, indigenous grains and recipes that promoted the biodiversity, used low resource farming. Instead of this, adding the inputs, particularly that inputs are very costly. Low cost technologies are available for farming. That was the gift given by our employment potentials, opportunities in agritourism, artisanal food product development, heritage restaurants. So we are thinking about the number of the products we prepared from the locally available foods and resources. Cultural identity, preserving the food heritage, fosters pride and sense of belongingness. That was most important. We are not having the sense of belonging. That is important. They were having, forefathers, ancestors, they were having the sense of belongingness. That's why they have transmitted the knowledge to generation or their next generations. Now today we are thinking about the patents, we are thinking about the confidentiality, we are not giving the valuables or any important knowledge, not imparting to the next. That is most important. Then what the learning objective while development of curriculum as far as the NEP is concerned? That is the learners, we are developing the curriculum for the learners that should be able to identify the traditional crops. Most important. If are developing the curriculum, particularly the related with subject under the IKS, that is the identify traditional crops, that is regional specific spices and condiments and food preparation methods for their regions. So we can develop your curriculum based on our local needs. Explain the health and ecological benefits of indigenous diets. So the particular climatic conditions are different. We are having the temperate region, tropical region, subtropical regions, warm and humid climate in the coastal areas. So accordingly, the food should be designed or developed. So such type of the courses should be included under the IKS. Demonstrate the traditional cooking, preservation techniques. Apply the entrepreneurial skills to create the value-added products from the indigenous foods. And we have to record the document recipes, stories, and cultural practices linked to our food heritage. These are the you can consider while developing or framing the curriculum, particularly under the IKS. This is the most important. Then I have explained you how the Western foods, particularly in case of dairy, when we think about the khawa, that is a traditionally produced. Now that under khawa we are having this evaporated or concentrated milk products, can call it a condensed milk. For this butter, we are having our makhan. Because in a dairy processing, we are having the milk after boiling, we are adding the cultures, and after keeping adding the earthen pots, then that milk, because of the fermentation, they were knowing the techniques, how the culture is added, and that milk was converted into dahi. From dahi, by using this indigenous technology, particularly that is called as the churning, by using a wooden device, and then curd was converted into a tak or chas, or then we'll get the butter, makhan, that is called the luni, and then makhan was again further on application of the heating, then ghee was prepared. So this was the indigenous technology for the preparation of the ghee or makhan or dahi. But now, because of this encroachment, or you can say this technological development in the Western dairy industry, so brought the Western technology, and then we have used this centrifugal cream separator machine. When you feed with the input of this raw milk, then due to the centrifugal force, milk was converted into a skim milk and cream. Skim milk was used for the drying purpose, and skim milk powder is prepared. And from this cream, then after heating, the heat was after melting, butter is prepared, and from butter oil is. So such type of the products we were having in indigenous knowledge, but now the Western dairy products are available. For the parallel product is yogurt. For butter, we are having these ghee, butter oil, ghee. Paneer, we are having the Western product is the cheese. Then ice cream, Western dairy product. We are having the kulfi. Such type of the few products we are having case of the dairy. Why the skill-based courses on traditional foods were introduced under the child? That is revival of these lost culinary arts. Whatever our ancestors, forefathers, or were having this knowledge, cook the foods. It is even today it is an art rather than the science, I would say. Because when we are preparing the tea in every house, but the ingredients are same: milk, and tea, water, sugar, but taste is different. Why? Because it is how the time we are giving to when these ingredients are added initially or lastly. Number of the problems, number of this recipe combination you find that is called as a proprietary food. So the revival of this lost culinary arts, how to prepare a particular food that was in our indigenous knowledge. Promote the entrepreneurship in the local food sectors. Boost the rural economy through the value addition. The nutritional value of ancient diets that were explained as balanced diet based on the Ayurvedic principles or Ayurveda principles they were knowing, or the Vedas. Example, the ragi for calcium, bajra or millets, pearl millets for the iron contents, particularly where population, particularly of the women, they are facing the problems of anemia because of the deficiency of the iron in their diets. So the millet when consumed, particularly pearl millet, get the iron insufficiency. Probiotic benefits for fermented foods. Even it is said that when who consume these fermented foods, their longevity will be more than 100 years. Particularly in case of Japan, they are consuming the maximum foods, fermented foods, maybe from soybean or from the dairy base. That is called the probiotic. They are containing the live microorganisms. When our gut is having the good bacteria, definitely they will not allow to enter these pathogens or infectious microorganisms. So these fermented foods need to be consumed, which are prepared by the using the indigenous. Sustainability of the indigenous food, that is climate resilient crops like millets on the basis of their requirement, our climate requirement, soil requirement, even input requirement, we have to select the crops, low water requirement compared to wheat, rice, eco-friendly processing method without addition of the chemicals for preservation or processing, addition of the natural colors instead of the synthetic colors or chemical colors, flavors. All type of the ice cream in consume there is the synthetic color, synthetic flavor, synthetic preservative. Instead of that, you use these natural colors, natural flavors, natural or nature identical. That will improve your health. That will be eco-friendly. In employment generation, that is our Indian knowledge system, they were not any having the unemployment. Because of this the technological advancement of this enforcement that are exhaustive use of this technology, that number of the problems were created. There is a food tourism and heritage restaurants having the specific traditional foods, agro processing units for traditional foods like millets or koro millet, russo millet, for online marketing of organic or local food. So we are now moving toward our old Bharat or old India. Online marketing of this organic or the organic food, natural foods, nature identical foods of local food. We are branding in such a way. Cultural identity and foods when food as a carrier of cultural stories and rituals. Example in Pongal, Onam, and Bihu feasts. These were the regional diversity. So we are having the diversity. Then teaching methods as far as the IKS concerned. So now that under the NEP 2020, the new terminologies have come across because of this impact of this Lord Macaulay or these education systems that impose on India. That is the can say that not the indigenous origin, and that experiential learning, the new teaching techniques or methods were to adopt. That is product-based learning, learning by doing, you can say, or practical approach. Community involvement should be there in this experience learning. Field visit to farms and heritage kitchens in order to expose them to the actual or practical field. Such type of these teaching methods were to bring into our curriculum. The suggested course modules for this on basis of the traditional food as per the NEP is concerned, indigenous crops and ingredients, traditional food processing techniques, skill development and practical training on the locally available crops, entrepreneurship in indigenous foods, and documentation and research. So these 5 modules we can bring in our curriculum as far as the traditional foods are. For the indigenous crops and ingredients, what we can bring? We can include the millets because students of the 21st century are not in position to identify when millets are the major staple food. This is the problem because they have never visited the fields. They have never visited the market while buying. So the experiential learning is most important. And that's why this NEP, that is field visit or on-job training is most important one of these vertical. So millet or pulses, ancient rice varieties, forest produce like germs, or you can say link or can technically call hydrocolloids, honeys, then medicinal and culinary uses of spices, nutritional science of indigenous foods. We are studying the imported nutritious foods. We have to study the locally available. Traditional food processing technique that fermentations. I explained in tribal communities they have maintained this technique. They were not knowing how actually what happens in fermentation, how the sugar is converted into alcohol. They were not knowing, but they were knowing that how the food is converted into a final product that is used for the other product. That means, and again, the technology has brought it to a commercial level on. That is fermentation technique for pickles making or the beverage making, sun drying. Our grandmother or forefathers were using the drying techniques, particularly for chili or for these vegetable drying or bear drying. Natural preservative. Drying is a natural preservative. Stone grinding. We are having these grinding mills instead of the way of techniques. Cold pressing oils. Now again we are moved to the using these cold press oil or wooden press oils instead of the refined vegetable oil. They contain number of the chemicals. So again we are going our back, our culture, our indigenous system. So sustainable cooking method, the earthen pots, they are giving the very good taste. They are in the new restaurant number of the they are advertising that we are cooking our particularly non-veg foods in earthen pot, wooden fire, instead of even the gas, pressure cookers. So when we cook the food slowly or gradually, then most of the nutrients will be get extracted in the food. So it will give the more tasty. Most of the nutrients will be available in the food. So instead of within fractions of minutes, we can raise the temperature. Instead of that, we have to cook the foods very slowly or gradually with the help of this earthen pot. So this was the indigenous technology in process. As far as the skill development and practical training, that recipe demonstration and cooking skills. Again, this is an art. I already told you this, the art rather than science. Preservation of the pickles, papads, fermented beverages like wines, or even food prepared from these mova flavors from the tribal areas. Kitchen gardens, seed preservation techniques. These techniques they were knowing, or forefathers were knowing, but that is available. We have to preserve these seeds with the help of this or ancient techniques. The entrepreneurship in indigenous foods, that is packaging, branding, and marketing heritage food. Now this is the high time that we have to bring this our old wine in new water. Example, what is there? Then again, all these millets we have to sell out it in the name of this modern marketing technique. Even today, we are exporting our millets and they are getting the higher prices than the wheat and rice. Food safety and hygiene in traditional food businesses because food safety is most important. Linking with the local farmer cooperative. So the example that how they are linked with the farmer, how they are buying their raw materials from the direct from the sources without from their middlemen or agents. They are buying their commodity directly from the farmers, the farmer producing organization or company. Documentation research, recording oral histories from our elders, from grandfathers, grandparents, creating the illustrated recipe books or videos. We have to preserve this knowledge. Participating in the local food festivals. So all type of we are organizing such events in order to give the platform to the showcase our traditions, our traditional knowledge, traditional technologies, indigenous technologies. Then what the pedagogical approaches that we have to introduce, that is experiential learning, cooking and processing session, community engagement. But to develop this pedagogy, local farmers and elders with the help of the community engagement, participatory involvement in teaching and learning also. Interdisciplinary learning, we have to study the history. If you are studying this cultivation of the processing of the crops, we should know the history of this cultivation, history of the growing, or science of the growing, meteorology, geography, soil, chemistry, meteorology, then agriculture engineering, then its economics, statistics, everything that will come in the one field visits, farms, markets, heritage kitchen. That means learning by doing or learning by active. Assessment method that we can include the practical demonstrations, that is in their project work, field work, or survey projects, community projects, product development or recipe documentation, then written and oral presentation, participation in the food exhibitions or fairs. Then what expected outcome will come from that culinary knowledge and entrepreneurship and research skills will adopt or will acquire, revival of the local food heritage, promotion of the healthy sustainable diets, creation of the rural and urban livelihood opportunities. How we can implement the implementation plan? We can design short-term courses, that is pilot courses in colleges or universities on the basis of this IKS, medium term for certificate programs with the skill councils, that is skill sector skill councils, National Skill Development Council, long term, that is higher education integration and research programs. What we concluded from this, as far as the NEP 2020 curriculum development under IKS, the aims for the holistic development, rooted and future ready education, rooted in the Indian ethos or IKS based food curriculum, nurture the cultural pride and sustainability, supports health and livelihoods and environmental conservation. So as far as the curriculum development with respect to the traditional foods, we can use with the help of this ITK, indigenous technology knowledge. Because our forefathers were having, there are parameters that is based on the experience they have carried forward to the next generation. Their focuses on the local attributes, reasonably compatible, understanding the relationship between the individual components and ecosystem, sustainable use of the local resources, natural resources, their dependence on the health of the local environment, they were taking care of the nature also, and sustainability and cultural survival. All these were the 6 parameters, or they are pillars of these characteristics of the indigenous technical knowledge. They are very important roles in order to solve the problems. Then the IKS sustainability, the farming system approach that I will explain that in order to solve the problems. Even the recent problems can be solved with the help of this Indian knowledge systems with respect to the farming system approach. With the help of these informations gathered from our ancestors, their experiences, their practices they have followed, the cropping pattern they have followed, know how technical or scientific or with the help of their old tools, discussion or meet with the help of this our elders, our grandfathers, grandmothers, use of the appropriate technology that is suitable for our region, and the integration of this indigenous technical knowledge with the specific knowledge on the basis of the experience and disciplines, continuous observations, freedom to make the progressive changes, managing and adapting the sequences, and development and adoption of this technology for diverse local collection. That is processes where the reductionism and the precise measurement, breeding and biotechnology, we were preserving the seed from the good quality plants. That is called the inbreeding. Now because of the hybridization, where every year we are buying the seeds and we are cultivating. Because we are using the hybrid seeds. Then this ITK may provide the solutions for low external inputs. That is the cost-effective agriculture. That is intensive agriculture production. Researcher and farmers learn from each others. That is the exchange of the knowledge or sharing of this experience and knowledge. Integration of this ITK with the scientific knowledge systems. Vital for sustainable agriculture. Efficacy and efficiency of locally available treatment. And identify the active ingredients and could come up with the appropriate recommendations. Role of the indigenous knowledge in the development and sustainable development that will depend upon the participatory approach. Indigenous knowledge is relevant at different three levels, that is local community, development of agents, and the global knowledge. Techniques for documentation of this indigenous technical knowledge. In order to documentation is the conversion of the traditional knowledge information provided by the communities into written documents, drawings or audio recordings. The main aim of the documentation is to ensure the information is not lost. That means we have to preserve that natural resource, protect the communities by presenting the information is prior art. Reasons for documentation is to understand the scientific rationale, to accelerate the technological change, to enable the better understanding technology development and development of newer concepts, to increase the awareness among the younger generation and develop the appreciation of traditional systems, to revive and restore the pride among the farmers and the practitioners themselves. So there's a recording science indigenous technology mission, that is mapping, we can do mapping, case histories, critical incidents, preference ranking, and inventory of farmers indicator. With the help of these techniques, we can preserve our knowledge, traditional knowledge. Farmers or community members, especially elders, are the best source of the ITK, indigenous technical knowledge. Folklore, songs, poetry, and theatre can reveal a great deal about the people's values and history and practices. These are often not written down, need to be recorded. Community records, people working with the community, such as extension workers, other resource person, and secondary source include published and unpublished documents, databases, videos, photos, and museums and exhibits. We can quantify this indigenous knowledge with this matrix ranking or semi-structured interviews, questionnaire developing questionnaire, preliminary discussions, interviews, statistical analysis, the hypothesis about the crop performance, then the honeybees network, how it works, then memory banking protocols, then Center for International Research and Advisory Network. Tamil Nadu Agriculture University also done this preservation of this traditional knowledge. Various preferred ITK application in hill agriculture, particularly one paper I have reported that developed by the Sakhale and FMC, indigenous nutrient management. Instead of using chemical fertilizers, we have to use biofertilizers, biopesticide, use of the farm yard manuals, that is cow-based agricultures, livestock-based agriculture, use of mixture of ash and manures, crop rotation and fallow lands, land preparation methods of sowing, seed treatments, post-harvest ripening of the mustards, the harvesting technique by with the help of bullocks, all this threshing by bullock trampling techniques were known. That's why we have developed the threshers. So this, all these are rooted in our indigenous. Storage structures different were developed from earthen to the plastic and then gaseous. Where is the earthen pots, we are preserving the seeds for longer period. All the documentation of the ITK by the different KVKs. Then this inclusive agriculture that we have to develop, that crucial links for farmers, fishermen, and foresters, agribusiness and supply chain markets, financial sector. For human development, we have to give access to the education and health, particularly skill education, trainings, the knowledge and skills transfer, the different skill development courses, safety nets and social protection, that is social security, health security, and nutrition security. Climate resilient agriculture, that is the research and development, skill development, infrastructure, that is the integrated approach we have to follow, because we cannot adopt all the indigenous knowledge in a single umbrella, but we can have the integrated approaches that includes the agroforestry systems, cultivation of the pastures, silvipastures, different types of the grasses that will be required for the maintaining the ecosystem. Crop livestock integration. So the livestock should depend upon the crops and crops should depend upon the livestock for their organic manure. So such type of the integration, we have to find out the different types of the bio, pesticide, insecticide, Juan Amrod, or number of these eco-friendly fertilizers are available or systems are available. Second is the crop production, that is the cropping pattern rotation. Instead of monocrops, multi-crops should be there. We have to follow the cereal crops followed by leguminous crops so that nitrogen will be increased in the soils. Soil microflora will be improved. So we need now, important need is to improve our soil because the continuous use of the soil for this higher yield, a number of the crops we are taking in a single year, so that the soil becomes sick. So we have to improve the health of the soil. That the government has launched a soil health card. Now, on the basis of the deficiency of the soil, we have to add the nutrients so that it will maintain the health of the soil. Then efficiency and management. That is system of rice intensification. We have to maintain these plant population. We have to select the specific irrigation system, flood irrigation system, or where is the micro irrigation system. So, according to the efficiency and management, we have to adopt these techniques. Pollination management, because the honeybees are now endangered species, we cannot see anywhere the honeycombs or and how the honeybees are coming out from the forest, or so that this honeybees should be there, so that the pollination will occur. Definitely, will get the good quality seeds. All these climate resilient agriculture were to introduce with the help of the indigenous knowledge system, indigenous technical knowledge, and then we can become a sustainable. We can do sustainable development. This is most important. Then we can uh, achieve the target of the sustainable development goal by 2030. That is the no poverty and everyone should get the sufficient food. That is, we can provide food security by 2030. That is the second sustainable development goal. Zero hunger. There should be no starvation and no malnutrition. With this brief, I have tried my level best to explain you to elaborate with this topic in align with this national education policy under the Indian knowledge system, indigenous knowledge system.
Thank you so much, sir. As we are running time, we would be taking only one question. Is anybody having questions?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, madam. Is there any question or any doubts? I have tried my level best to explain this topic.
Yeah. I don't think there are any questions, sir. We will directly go for the vote of thanks.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Yes. Participant, please give vote of thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Can I?
Yes, sir, please.
Very good evening, one and all. First of all, we should thank the resource person, sir. You accepted our request and you have given a good lecture. And we thank you because, the way you explained all the points like indigenous knowledge, importance of agriculture, and Annam Parabrahma Swarup, like food, nutrition, health is wealth, and food is life. The way you explained very good, and thank you so much, sir. The revolutions also in agriculture sector and global challenges, emergency issues, and all, like you have kept all the points here, And one more important thing is that everybody will study and discuss all the points. The thing is that finally we should bring into output, like, entrepreneurship. It is most important thing. Even if as a lecturer, when I'm taking the class, the final concept is that students should do something. The same way you explained the food and importance of food, okay. But in rural area, how you can generate the employment through the traditional foods, like, what you can say, millets or pulses. Like in these areas, you explained, as well as you explained clearly the importance of indigenous foods, like food system. So nowadays, I think hereafter, all faculty, they will start using all these pulses what you have given in these lectures. And thank you so much. I hope so they will stop eating all the things, and hereafter they will prefer and all millets, like, today onwards, like importance of food also you explained. On behalf of all the participants as well as from university, we thank you so much, sir, for outstanding lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for patient hearing. Madam, thank you. May I leave now?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. You can please leave the meeting. Yes, no problem. See you participants tomorrow. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Good night.